Hello and welcome to episode number 98 of the Friday Nightmares podcast. I am one half of your hosting team this evening, Mr. Smoke Show Crawford, coming to you from the town of Swartz Creek in the county of Genesee, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, in the North American continent, in the Western Hemisphere, on the planet Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy. I'm fully vaxxed, boosted, and waxed and ready to climax, and if you can, please get me wet and feed me after midnight. I'm the man with a glorious beard, aka Mother of Cats, aka the man with the humongous ego, aka Scott Housen, aka Scotty Too Hottie, aka Spanky, and just one awesome dude. That's all I need to add at the end there. Just one awesome dude. And with me as always is
Heather Powell coming to you today from Waterdown, Ontario, Canada, part of the premium podcast casting team that is the Friday Nightmare podcast that wasn't invited onto Slasher Radio.
Yeah, Rob. It's because, Rob just keeps thinking I'm not inviting him to things, so he's holding it against me.
Yeah, maybe it's because we never record and people forget that we exist until we come back. Right. That could be why. So I'll just get it out of the way now. The last time we were going to record was a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, while I was on a call with Scott recording, I got news that my dad was being transported to the hospital in an ambulance and he passed away that afternoon from a massive heart attack. So this was not because of Scott for once that we were late in recording and releasing.
Unfortunately.
But 3 weeks have gone by and we were supposed to podcast with the Tim and Daniel and Rob last weekend. I just wasn't feeling it, but I'm happy to go back and do it with Scott. Scott's my brother, and it's nice to get back into it with him. So I'm looking forward to it today. And hopefully we will not be interrupted by anything else. And here we go.
Yeah, and I was saying, because of the long period of time that we've had between the last session, we do have a lot of movies, though I will say, kind of scrolling through the list, because some of these were ones I was going to talk about when we previously recorded, I may not have much to say because a lot of them have faded from my memory. But we'll see as I go through them and see if I can kind of get anything and any thoughts on them.
Well, yeah, sorry, I'm just sending a message. But yeah, I know it's been a while. Some of these are dated. But that's okay. Some of them we can remember. Like a fucking... Okay, we're going to just jump to it. What is with the Quiet Place franchise? So, okay. So Scott tried to watch... So we're moving around the list, Scott. I know I'm throwing you off, but I just want to get the cat out of the bag now. Why do we keep making Quiet Place movies? Can someone explain to me what the point of this last movie was? Like, I don't get it.
Oh, well, the only point I know of the reason why, this movie got made, money. Because everybody still goes and sees these movies, but...
Right?
When, I talked about my theater experience and how we walked out like halfway through because of the kids that were being disruptive. But it finally came to VOD and we were able to watch it at home. And yeah, it just wasn't good. Like I always have issues with these movies. Like they don't follow their own rules sometimes. The plot line makes no sense on decisions people make. And the only two redeeming qualities of this movie were Lupita Nyong'o and the kitty. The kitty was the star of the show for me.
You see, okay, I know you guys all love the cat, and don't get me wrong, the cat was fine, but the cat couldn't save this movie for me. I have no idea. I have no idea why these movies keep being made. Like, now, mind you, I understand when the first one came out, it was like a big deal, right? It was something different. It was a little more unique. I get that. But and I know you've always had the beef with the baby being born. Like, what couple does that, right?
Hey, let's live in a world where we can't make a single noise. Let's freaking make a baby, because that's a great idea right now.
Yeah, like I agree. That plot point never really bothered me too much because I thought, well, maybe they had the baby, maybe she got pregnant before, like the day of or the day before everything went to shit. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was though. That's the
problem. Was it enough time? Okay.
Because they didn't have a baby. I think she wanted another baby after losing her son in the very beginning.
Oh, right, yeah. The kid with the toy. Yeah.
It's like, for fuck's sakes.
But I feel like the point of this movie was to be like, oh, what would happen if New York City went silent? And
Hmm.
I didn't need this movie. And please stop making Quiet Place films. Please, for the love of God, please stop making Quiet Place films. Like, I understand there's some fans of theirs out there, but I still don't get the purpose of this movie. Our main character, has a condition, and throughout the entire movie, it feels like that was talked about and that was kind of a focus, but not.
Yeah,
And then, and you're right, they play fast and hard with the rules in this series. It's, Tim and Daniel from the Dummies of Horror podcast made a really good point. What if you snore or talk in your sleep?
exactly. You fart,
Right? Like,
you burp.
yeah, like there's so many things that, like, when they said that, I'm like, yeah, right. And then we keep going with this franchise, and this didn't even continue with the family. I don't know. I don't understand how this was day one. It had no connection to the other characters. It had, as I said, people liked it. That's cool. I'm not shitting on the film. I think it's a well-made movie. Special effects were great. Acting was great. I totally get if people have this in their top 10, hey, rock on, man. I just don't understand the fascination with fucking Quiet Place movies. I just don't get it. And
Yeah,
they made a
like
lot of money,
yeah, oh, it did. Like a lot,
right?
horror in general this year in theaters has made a lot of money. Whether the movies were good or not, they still have been banking and banking. Unless
Right?
you're the Crow, then you're doing terrible.
Yeah, I haven't even gone down that route. Like, I'll be real, I didn't love the first Crow. Like, I thought it was okay and I enjoy it, but I'm not someone who's like, it's sad. It's a really depressing film.
Yeah, like I loved it as the when I was the edgy teenager,
Yeah,
and then as I got older and thought about it more, I'm like, no, it's just depressing because of what happened to uh,
right?
Brandon Lee, and then just the movie itself was just, yeah,
Yeah, like it's not a bad, again, not a bad film. I don't want to piss off any Crow lovers out there, but like I don't know. Again, things I don't get. Why we
yeah,
remade The Strangers with Chapter 1. Not quite getting that. Don't get why we keep making Quiet Place movies. But Winnie the Pooh, Bud and Honey, keep that shit coming because at least you know what you are and you don't take yourself
yes,
seriously.
and oh my God, they just because you brought it up, they dropped the trailer for Peter Pan's Nightmare
Oh yeah?
Neverland yesterday. I am here for it. It looks so
Aw.
ridiculous. I'm like, yes, bring it on.
Finally, man. Well, that's good. I have to wash the Quiet Place day one out of my mouth. And like the cat, how did the cat he jump? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm giving spoilers away. Everyone, if you like the Quiet Place series, you'll probably like this movie. But I personally would be fine if they never made another one. But it makes
Yeah,
money,
I
like
was
you
gonna
said.
say like the only thing like I love the cat. The cat was beautiful. Cat was smart. Cat was awesome. But like the only issue I have is the cat didn't act like a real cat. Like you could
No.
tell, just like the situations that cat was in, that cat would have been like bye and ran off.
And there were some situations where the cat was clearly a stuffy, or
Hmm.
like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny. Anyway, if you're interested in A Quiet Place Day One, it is out of the theaters, but you can rent it on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, Microsoft Store, and in Canada on Cineplex. I don't know. Most people here are giving it 3.5 stars, including Tim from Dummies of Horror, Matt Wood. You also gave it 3.5 stars. So did the Hump give it 3.5 stars.
I
Like,
gave
I
it three
think
and a
most
half.
people,
I thought I gave
yeah,
it a three. It should have been
no,
a three.
3.5. Okay, Scott's changed his rating, 3.5. I would probably, or sorry, 3. I would probably give it a 3. I think it's a decent film. It just isn't one that I care for.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's if it's like you and I say for me, 3-star rating out of 5 on Letterbox is if I'm channel surfing and it came on, I wouldn't be like, okay, I'll skip. I'd leave it on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like it's not great, but it's like at the same time, I didn't feel like I wasted my time.
Well, this one apparently a lot of people felt like they wasted their time. So we'll go up to the top of the list again. We'll start off with good old Black Mold. Now,
Oh
even
boy.
though I saw this movie back in July, I still remember what happened. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, photographers Brooke Conrad and Tanner Bellman traveled to rural and abandoned buildings to capture the inherent beauty of long forgotten locations. But far from forgotten are the traumatic memories that surface in Brooke when they meet the man upstairs, an unsuspecting squatter. As tensions and uncertainties rise, Brooke must determine if this mysterious stranger will provide her the closure she so desperately seeks or let the fear of the past consume her. This is an interesting movie. This is definitely a movie that is using a lot of this thing is happening, but it means this kind of thing, right? Like
Right.
what the movie that we saw about the woman who was battling alcoholism or addiction, and then her son developed a specific addiction, and she was trying to meet that addiction all the time. And the whole film was based upon addiction, but didn't say it was based upon addiction.
Yeah, I can't
Kid
remember the
was
name of it, but
kid was a vampire. You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah.
So, um, not that this has anything to do with vampires or any of that shit, but it's very much one of those movies where it's talking about something, but it's talking about something bigger as part of that symptom of what's going on. I'll give them credit. They kept to a basic setting, this abandoned building, which probably cost them nothing. It's a small cast. It is a cast where it is a movie where it's an unreliable narrator. So, if you don't like unreliable narrators, you may not like this film. Dave Bailey gave it 2.5 stars. Other people have given it 1.5.
Oof.
I don't know if that's fair. I would probably sit around a 3 as well, because I liked the whole we're talking about this, but this really means that. Like I like those metaphoric, or oh, we're talking about addiction through this, or oh, this is a message for addiction to social media through that. Like The Watchers, I enjoyed it because it was something that discussed voyeurism in our society, right? So
Right.
for me, I like that kind of thing. It's good. I think for someone who's not into that, this movie would be very boring, which is fair. So it is a free watch on the Tubi. So if for some reason you like your kind of unreliable narrator, what is real, what is not, and some kind of symbolic meaning behind your horror films, this might be a film that you enjoy. I believe it was on the film circuit. Like it went to different, I think it even won an award at one of the film festivals. Watch at your own discretion. Like if what I described does not sound like something you'll enjoy, don't waste your time.
Right.
But if it sounds like something you could like, it may sit around a 3. I don't know if anyone will have this in their top 10 of the year, but I think for an indie low budget film, it was fine. It was fine.
Okay. Good to know. I'll say, but we'll jump on to the next one that will definitely
Yeah.
be in my top 10 of the year. Um, this one is, and it's kind of fitting that I'm the one bringing this one in, being
Mhm.
what it is. um, so this one is called Deer Camp 86. Has an 85-minute runtime. Tagline: They should have stayed in Detroit, where it was safe.
Which
Uh,
is something that no one has ever hashtag said.
right.
But
The synopsis is: In the fall of 1986, six knuckleheads from Detroit traveled north to partake in the annual tradition of deer hunting. But something horrific has been awakened, and the hunters become the hunted. So, right, this is a Michigan-made film with a director from Michigan. Actors are from Michigan. All the set locations are in Michigan. I believe the location where the cabin was just north of Manistee, which is on the
nice.
west side of Michigan, and it's beautiful, like wooded area, like a lot of nature out there. Like that
That's
area is
cool.
just gorgeous. And this definitely the annual tradition, as it says, deer hunting is a legit thing here in Michigan. Every November,
Oh,
people
it
go
sure
deer hunting,
is.
and they are people that take weeks off from work to go do deer hunting, because deer hunting season is a thing here. Um, I have had my share of venison thanks to deer hunting because of friends that I know that are hunters, and lots of venison from the deer meat. But anyways, so this movie is a horror comedy. But I have to say, I fucking loved this so much. The actors all did an amazing job. It's the set locations are beautiful. The quality of the filming is beautiful, even for like being like an indie film.
I
It's very
agree.
well shot. The direction in it is done well. No issues with the editing. And has a very good message to the story about indigenous
Yes.
people and how they got treated. And
Yes. Yes.
like the monster effects in this are really good. Or the
Totally.
monster effect is really good. The bit of gore you see is really well done. Some
Mm-hmm.
CGI, but not a lot. Like I don't have a single complaint about this film. The more I sat with it, the longer I sat with it, the more and more I loved it. Like The characters are all
I
endearing and
agree.
felt like actual real life friends.
I agree with you, Scott. I thought this was a really good film. And, again, I watched this back in July before, my own traumatic event occurred. But I can remember it, which says something, I guess,
Yeah,
right? I did find the acting and the casting of this, I thought was really well done. I
yeah,
thought
like
the
I was
guys that,
impressed.
yeah, like the guys they selected where they all played a character role that made sense for them, right?
Yes.
Like if you were a dick, you were a dick, and the dicks were believable. If you were kind of a guy that sat in the middle and could go either way, you sat in the middle, and you cared. You were invested to what happened to these dudes. I know that a lot of people talk about not be caring about what happens to characters, and I think it's hard already to really, unless a movie does a really good job of pulling at your heartstrings. This is a horror comedy, so it's even harder to care. But I thought it was great. I think this is definitely my top 10 of the year as well. I thought this was an exceptionally well made movie, for what it is. Again, for what it is. So you gotta like horror comedies. You gotta like Goofy, and I don't know what else would you say you gotta like to enjoy this film.
Um, kind of like I wouldn't because I know Tim Davis is tired of movies with a message. This one has a message, but Tim Davis, I recommend you check this out because I could totally see you being like in this group of friends, being one of the guys having fun. Like, I think you should definitely watch this one if you haven't yet.
I don't know. I disagree with Tim. I think messages are important, but
Well, no,
that's
I know,
me,
but like,
right? But
I know he's tired of them, but like but
and that's fine.
yeah,
I don't think it's heavy though.
no,
Honestly,
it's not
like
heavy-handed at all.
I think most people may not even get it. I don't know if he would be in Australia. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely an indigenous. It's a little bit of a commentary on indigenous the way
Oh
indigenous
yeah, I
folks
mean,
are treated here. I
in
know they have
Australia,
indigenous folks in Australia too, but I don't
yeah,
know. Like I don't know if the context would move over there for him. Like I don't know what the experience is like for indigenous folks there, right? So
right, true.
I assume they're probably similar. But it would be interesting to see. But I think from a 1986 standpoint as well, I think it also does 80s without like overdoing the 80s.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
and it like felt like real natural 80s, not like neons and constant pop music playing and stuff like that going,
yeah.
remember the 80s? And it's like the
Ah,
80s was never like
yeah.
this, but you remember that?
Yeah, it's like people who weren't in the 80s fantasizing what they think the 80s were about, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right?
But yeah, this is even like I was gonna say like one more thing about the characters in this. Where most horror films have a group of quote unquote friends, and you're watching this going, that person would not be in this friend group or
Yeah.
this one. You're like, no, I could see all these. Like I've literally had a friend group of these types of people together. Like it's like that. There isn't like a weird cultural difference between them, or
No.
what you would call social
No.
difference between them. Like they all kind of just connect really well. And like I say, it makes sense. Like everything about this film, like
I
it
agree.
may go up to a 10 out of 10 for me if I rewatch it. But like right now, it's sitting at a 9 out of 10 for me.
It's a good movie, and it's available on Apple, Google Play, and YouTube. And honestly, I think it's worth the rental if what we described is
Oh,
your thing.
absolutely.
If it's not, then don't rent it. Like I hate to be so cut dry, but if this does not, this is what we do on this podcast. If this does not sound like something you will enjoy, then do not rent this movie
Exactly.
because we've broken down for you what it's going to be about. Right?
Yep. And I want to read Matt's review. Good old sexy Matt Wood. He said this very much this reminded me very much of Predator. There you go, Tim. Yet a comedy version. I think it's well written, had some great scripting. Buck's character was hilarious. I have to agree there. All the characters were likable. It felt real. Friendships felt real. I wanted them all to survive. The gore was pretty decent. CGI was okay. It had a message which was cool. Indigenous people were fucked over. Fuck with them and you get fucked over back. Monster looked cool too. Overall, very fun watch. One that I will return to. Well worth it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that sums it up really well. It's a fun film. So hopefully more people check it out so that they stop complaining about this year in horror.
I mean, I'll
I
still
thought it,
complain, but
but at least you watch. What is your watch list up to now? I think mine's 114.
yeah, you are way ahead of me. I am 75.
75. Well, that's not bad. You're creeping up there, but I'm gonna give you one you can avoid.
Oh, good.
It's called Underground. This is a UK movie. I don't know why they made this movie. So this is a found footage film. After a wild bachelorette party. Okay, it's not that wild. Calm down. And it's called a hen party there. So
A hen
for the
party.
British folks listening, hen party. A group of
Love it.
young women find themselves trapped in an underground bunker complex. A disturbing finding turns their night into an absolute nightmare. So it started off decent, okay? Like the build up to the Bachelorette, the build up to going underground. I can't remember how they ended up underground. I do remember they get kicked out of a cab because they're too drunk and the one throws up everywhere, which probably would happen. But I don't remember how they get into the underground. I don't remember how they get eliminated, we'll say. And I don't remember what happens at the end. I just remember there's some kind of news report at the end. So this is found footage. They don't really give a justification why they keep filming. Like, I guess it's because they're filming the party, but then they're filming their demise for proof of it. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll get to found footage rules when we get to the last found footage film I watched.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. So this is one that you do not have to watch. I
Okay,
am the
good.
only one that's watched it of everyone we know, and that's probably for the best. But if for some reason you're a found footage completist and you want to watch something that's like, what was that one? The Descent, only not good, and Descent wasn't even found footage, but like basically the same kind of concept of like a girl's trip gone bad. Just watch The Descent.
Okay.
Like, or fucking any other movie that's about that.
Right.
Just don't watch this one. So, but if for some reason you want to watch found footage, it's available on Apple TV, Google Play, and YouTube for whatever ridiculous amount they're probably charging for this piece of shit. So, I don't know. It's probably like a $7.99 rental because they need to make money. But if this was on Tubi, I would be like, sure, to someone who is like really loved found footage. I'd be like, watch it, you may like it. But I don't even think Tubi wanted to pick it up because they were like, pass.
Fair.
And you know it's not good when Tubi's like, pass.
Right.
Right? You know it's a bad sign. But this next one, I think it's the other Abigail film, and I haven't seen that one. I think you saw this one, right?
Yes. So this
Okay.
is Abigail, but it is not the theatrical released vampire film Abigail that was actually, really fucking good. This one is
Not really fucking good.
yeah,
That build up you had there.
yeah, yeah. So
You're like, and the opposite, the end. On to the next read.
so I'll just give the small little synopsis here. It does have it. It's an 88-minute runtime. In 1976, a troubled teen befriends her bullied neighbor, seeking revenge on his tormentors, but her obsession turns deadly. That basically just gave away the story, like the plot and everything. Sorry guys if you really want to watch this, but yeah. This was not that great. Like I found the chemistry between her and the friend that she makes when after she moves there. I felt like it was believable.
Okay.
But the rest of the acting and the story just was not great. Like I can't even pick out what was bad or anything because it's just one of those that's
Oh my
just
god.
kind of been forgotten.
You're like, it was just all bad.
Yeah, like
It's like
I ended,
Underground. You don't remember.
yeah, it's literally like if it's a movie I don't remember, it's 2.5 out of 5. Like it's not offensive, but it's not good enough to remember. Like so, this is one I just say, why bother? Don't waste your time with it. It's very just mediocre at best, and that's all I can really say about it because it's been
I
so
love
long.
it. So basically Underground and Abigail, not the other one. Not the good one that everyone's been
Yeah.
talking about. The Abigail that no one's talking about.
Yeah,
There's a reason.
but if you do want to watch it, it is available to rent on Amazon, Apple TV, or no, available to buy on Amazon, Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, and YouTube. Available to rent on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon, and YouTube. I wouldn't bother renting it even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's some duds here.
Yeah, there is, and like I say, the more we go down this list, the more I'm changing my ratings too, because I'm going, oh yeah, I didn't remember that movie now, so that drops the score.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, we got more lackluster movies about to come up our way too, and more AI is Scary is coming too soon,
Oh,
Scott.
I
Well,
can't wait.
what is the one that's dropping that already just dropped? Is it Afraid?
Yes.
Yeah, it's scary. When I saw that preview before I watched another movie that's coming up shortly, all I could think of was you. It's scary.
It's like, yeah, except for this one's got a supernatural twist to it.
This one has a demon in it, and it's scary AI.
It's like, for fuck's sakes.
Oh my god. Well, if you're into technology being scary, I got a video game movie for you. Latency is fear. Tagline is fear is reality. I know. When professional gamer Hannah, I know a woman as a gamer,
Unbelievable.
so woke.
0 out of 10.
Honestly. Like, of course, it has to be a woman gamer.
God,
Honestly,
so woke. It's bullshit.
this is what Tim's talking about. Enough of these messages in horror. I don't need to shove down my throat that females play video games, okay? Like, I don't need to know that. I need to think that they don't. It just makes me feel better
Right.
as a person. Anyway, who suffers from an acute agoraphobia, receives new equipment that enhances her game. It's a virtual reality game, just so we're clear. And she begins to wonder if it's reading her mind or controlling it.
What?
Oh, that fucking sums up what happens in this movie. Matt Wood gave it 2 stars. Let's see what he wrote. This film had so much promise. I agree. Great concept. However, it just became a generic bore fest. Initially, it had a decent setup. The story was going well, and it just fucking fell apart. That is 100% true. He gave it 4 headbands of gamer choice out of 10. And I was confused by the ending. Again, this is another unreliable narrator film. And I am fine with unreliable narrator films if the conclusion makes sense.
Right.
But when I get to the conclusion, I'm like, what? So was that real or not real? Was that person there or not there? I don't like that. Like, you're not fucking Robert Eggers, and this isn't The Witch. So can you please just spell it out for the rest of everyone in the class? Like, you're not making a high artsy film here. This isn't no A24 fucking IFC Midnight fucking party going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is about a haunted video game or fucking AI gone wacky or whatever you want to call it. Be straight to the point. It is not straight to the point. So this is something that looks like it's going to be appealing. You know, it maybe looks like a guy or a person or a woman who tells you one thing, but they're really something else. Like they'll say, I'm not racist, but that's what this movie is.
Gotcha.
Not that I think that way, but...
But...
Right? That's this movie. So I suggest skipping it, but if for some reason maybe you have a fascination with AI gone wrong or video games gone wrong, or I don't know, you hate female gamers and you need to see somebody get tortured, then you could watch this film. It's on Apple TV, Google Play, Microsoft Store, YouTube, or Cineplex for renting or buying. I don't know. If only if you really, really like this kind of theme, and unreliable narrators, because this bitch is super unreliable. I have no idea what she was fucking talking about. Like, it was just wild. And again, I think Matt summed it up. The premise was good. There was such a chance for success here, and it just went no. Game over.
Drop the ball.
You know, controllers up, cards down. Hashtag if you know, you know.
Sorry, Luffy.
This movie was definitely cards down.
Ooh.
So, and then the next one, oh yeah, we already talked about A Quiet Place. Please, for the love of God, stop making movies from that franchise, but they're still going to keep coming. Another franchise that decided to come back alive this year is Twisters.
Ay.
All right. I saw this in the theaters because I wanted to see big tornadoes on the screen.
Yeah, I was going to say, which, that's probably the best way to see this movie because the effects and everything, it's like an effect extravaganza, right?
Right. So, funny story. Glenn Powell is in this film.
Why do I know that?
He plays the sexy, like, blonde. He's super, like, hot right now. Like, he's kind of like, he was in a bunch of other shit. Hold on, let me look up what he was in. He was in Anyone But You, Top Gun Maverick, The Dark Knight Rises, Hitman, Hidden Figures, Spy Kids. He's currently kind of seen as like a hunk.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So a week after my dad's funeral, my aunt made dinner reservations, and my last name is Powell, as many people know. And of course, like I'm usually would catch on to jokes. So I go into the restaurant. I'm there on like I was there early, and I'm like, oh, I'm reservation for Powell, and they're like Glenn Powell, and I'm like, no, it should be like Bill Powell. That's my cousin's name, or my uncle's name is William. Like I'm super like not catching it, right? They're like,
Right.
oh, sure, Glenn Powell's not, and they know me, right? So I know they're just trying to joke with me because I go to this restaurant frequently. But of course, my dad just died, so I'm out of it. And they're like, "Oh, you didn't get the joke." I'm like, "Oh, Powell from Twisters." I'm like, "No, he's not coming to dinner." But thank God I saw this movie because I was like, Glenn Powell. What the
Right.
fuck's Glenn Powell? I don't have another family member named Glenn Powell. I started panicking that there was like a long lost cousin I didn't know about that was going to show up at this dinner. I'm like, I'm not ready for this right now. I got too much other shit going on. But no,
Right.
sadly, Glenn Powell did not come to my family dinner. So, but the movie, well, I don't know. Scotty, do you like tornadoes?
No. I
Oh,
mean,
do you like country music?
oh God, no.
Okay. Do you like tornadoes, love triangle, and country music?
Oh, for the love of God.
And random science talk that probably isn't even accurate.
Oh God. None of this sounds interesting to me.
Well, that's fucking Twisters for you. So, chase, ride, survive. As storm season intensifies, the paths of former storm chasers Kate Carter and reckless social media superstar Tyler
Or
Oates,
social media superstar.
played by Glenn Powell, collide when terrifying phenomenons never seen before are unleashed, and the pair and their competing teams find themselves squarely in the path of multiple storm systems converging over central Oklahoma in the fight of their lives. I feel like this is so exploitative to the people that live in Oklahoma, or like areas where tornadoes are a fucking real threat.
Yeah.
Like we have had tornadoes touch down near me, and I know you have had them touch down near you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of extensive damage? Like I'm talking, what we would see in a movie like Twister happening near you.
The only time that has happened near like me, like was about 2 years ago. The town of Gaylord got hit hard and a lot of damages, a lot of buildings were destroyed. And then before that was an F5 in 1959 in the Flint
Okay.
area. So that doesn't happen often, but it
Not
does
not
happen.
often. It does happen though. So for me, we've had tornadoes touch down too. There's been some damage, but nothing to what the people in fucking Oklahoma, for example, deal with.
Exactly.
So I always like, even halfway through this movie, I was like, maybe I shouldn't be here. This seems pretty exploitative. But anyway, I'm here for it. I'll give it credit. The special effects are great. I don't mind the CGI. I think the CGI of the tornadoes is good. The characters are affable enough that you care. I do like Glenn Powell. I think he's quite charming and he's good looking. And the chick that's in this is good looking. It's Daisy Ager Jones, and your typical like big evil corporation and the small guy just trying to do the right thing. I watched the Honest trailer on this the other day, and it was 9 minutes long, and it was worth every minute
I love honest
because
trailers.
it was so accurate. So I include this in here because it's a natural disaster movie. Some people wouldn't consider it horror. That's fine. I think if you liked the first Twister, you'll probably enjoy this. Don't go in expecting a complicated plot. Don't go in expecting anything that makes any kind of sense in terms of the decisions. Like, these are people that chase tornadoes, for fucking crying out loud. Don't expect logical decisions to be made.
Exactly.
Perhaps Erica should not watch this film because there's nothing logical about what these people do for a living. Okay, like there's nothing logical, and like I don't even know how they all make money to afford the fucking gas in their cars to do this. Like, I know that one of them's a social media star, and like I don't know. Yeah, they kind of say where their funds come from, but anyway. If you're looking for twisty, there's no cows in this one.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I heard there's a fire tornado.
Oh, there is. There's a rodeo as well, and a lot of country music. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of country music.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. So, buckle up. It is available to rent on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, Microsoft Store, and in Canada at Cineplex. Again, It's entertaining enough for what it is. I would probably give it 3 out of 5 stars. It's a entertaining film. It kept me entertained. It kept me intrigued. But would I be like, oh man, must watch of the year? No.
Right, exactly. Like
Right.
if someone said, "Hey, I'm going to the theater. I'll buy your ticket if you want to go see this," I'd be like, "Okay,
Stuffing your face full of popcorn.
exactly."
I'll bet you waka. That's
How
what
much?
you
How
did.
much?
I would definitely not do that in the fucking chase. I would go the other way. These guys don't know what they're doing.
Right?
Like
I
there's
see.
parts where they drill cars into grounds and shit like that. It's just so fucking like
Right.
cheese
If I
cheese.
see a tornado, I'm running the fuck away.
You're not like, oh my god, let me chase it. And honestly, like it's so funny. But the next one is The Inheritance. Did you watch this or is this just me again?
This is just you again. This one is one that I was curious about because I watched the trailer and I'm like, oh, this looks intriguing.
Oh, this was good. Okay, so billionaire Charles Bathory, on the eve of his 75th birthday, invites his 4 estranged children back to their home out of fear that someone tonight or something is coming to do something to him, I'll say. To ensure his family will protect him from whatever's coming, he puts their inheritance on the line. They will get nothing if something happens to him by dawn. I enjoyed this film. I think this is what you see is what you get here. You like home invasion type of films. You like families being put in peril, rich people being put in peril of their inheritance being taken away and shit happening. You'll like this movie. And
Nice.
basically sums it up for what is the runtime here? 84 minutes, an hour and a half, just under. There's someone that's in this that is only in it a bit. Is it Brie Middleton or Peyton List? She was in Spider-Man. I don't know. There was someone that was like well known that was only in it for like 50 seconds. But got another kitty on your shoulder.
Yep, Biff demanded shoulders.
A bibis. I would say, like, even though I did see this a while ago, it's entertaining for what it is. It won't be on my top 10, but did I like it? Absolutely, I did. To put it on and watch it and see what happens, like, you kind of know what's going to happen. Like, you kind of have an idea if you've seen any of these types of movies before. But I'm not going to lie, I was here for it. So if you're looking for easy runtime, rich people having a fight for their inheritance, and some crazy shenanigans that go on, then you can find this at Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, Microsoft Store, and Amazon for rent if you are so interested.
Good to know, because yeah, this one I'm glad to hear it was pretty good. Because yeah, I think this is one Erica and I were planning on watching at some point.
Yeah, I
Just
would say
throw
it's
it on.
entertaining. Yeah, like Friday, Saturday night, you guys are just chilling, or a weekday night. Yeah, put it on. It's entertaining,
Yeah.
easy to watch.
Yeah, that's like, because we've but one thing that Erica and I do, like if we don't have a lot of time to watch like a movie or TV show or something, we'll get on YouTube and just watch like a compilation of upcoming 2024 horror films, and it'll just show all the
Nice.
trailers, and so we just keep a mental note of ones like, oh, okay, that one's on Plex, okay, that one's there, okay, well,
Nice. Good.
so we got ones that we want to check out, but well, the next one, I don't think you've watched this one, correct?
I watched some of it,
Oh,
and
okay.
then the copy I was watching, I mean, borrowing, of course, because I would never watch anything online that someone didn't own. Um, it kind of like got all weird, and I haven't been able to. I got 20 minutes in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'll be real, I wasn't overly excited for this movie. I
Okay.
kind of could care less about it. But I would love to hear your thoughts.
All right, so yeah, this one is a theatrical release, and it is the third film in the trilogy. But this is Maxine, directed by Ty West, 104-minute runtime. Tagline: Hollywood is a killer. In 1980s Hollywood, adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Minks finally gets her big break. But as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. So obviously, this is, for people that don't know, this is the third film in the I forget what the trilogy's called, but it's X and Pearl and then Maxine. I loved X and Pearl, and I was looking forward to checking out Maxine. This was okay.
Mediocre.
Just mediocre. I will say, where X played like a homage to like the 70s grindhouse horror films, and Pearl played out to like the 30s or the 50s Technicolor Wizard of Oz type style of filmmaking. Ty West is good at making movies that, represent a certain decade. So this one is obviously in the 80s, and he nails the 80s look. And the other thing that he nails with this one is it looks like he was trying to go more of a thriller slash giallo style with
Mm.
this one. And yep, it plays out a lot like that. However, this one was just missing something. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but like the gore effects when there was some killings were cool. The story was decent. The third act was meh. The reveal was mediocre. I mean, it tied into the other films a little bit. But yeah, this one was just lacking something. I can't even really put my finger on it. I will see what Matt Wood had to say because he gave it the same score as me.
Okay.
He's like, I enjoyed this movie. I'd waited a while to see it, but to be honest, there wasn't much chat about it online, which didn't bode well. In this, the third installment of the X trilogy, Mia Goth returns as Maxine and gives us yet another great performance. I will give him, yeah, Mia Goth does an amazing job. The first couple acts were really enjoyable for me. However, as the film goes on, it dips for me. I didn't really like the direction it headed to. A lot of the sleaziness of the first few acts seemed to disappear somehow, with a rather unsatisfying conclusion. However, there are some
Oh.
good kills and decent head trauma. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. It was that's kind of my thoughts exactly. It just the third act kind of stumbles and doesn't have like a very good conclusion for a trilogy, I don't think.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
But does it tie back enough into the other two or no?
Yeah, like I think you could watch this one without watching the other two,
Hmm.
but there would be some like little nods and little tie-ins that would make the story make more sense.
And we are following the chick that survived, right?
Yeah, the one that survived X.
Okay. Okay. And there's no flashbacks to X?
I'm trying to think. I don't think there was necessarily a flashback. It was just X was brought like stuff that happened during X does get brought
Okay.
up by certain people, and like even though she's
Okay.
trying to keep that part of her past hidden.
So she's not talking about it with people, kind
Yes.
of thing. Okay. Okay. Hmm.
But yeah, it's something about it just didn't gel with me like X and Pearl did. But like Mia Goth
Hey,
perform, it definitely wasn't Mia Goth because her performance is always is fucking great.
well, and even fine if you don't like movies that she's in, you still like her,
Yeah,
right?
like you can't deny that she's a good actress.
I felt that way when people with Infinity Pool, right? Even if they didn't like Infinity Pool, you
Yep.
can't take away from how she delivers.
Though
I don't know.
I do remember Tim absolutely hating her in Infinity Pool because of the James.
James. Well, and you were supposed, in all fairness, you were supposed to hate her, so
Exactly.
kind of does make sense, right? So, do you recommend this to people? What
I
do you say?
recommend if you've seen X and Pearl and you want to finish off the trilogy, I say go for it. It's not the best ending for the trilogy, but you're not gonna. I don't think you'll hate your time with it. It's just decent enough. Like I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it's well made, well acted. The story just kind of. I think it is. I think it's just the story. It just kind of falls apart for me.
Fair enough. That sounds like a very good rating. Honestly, a very honest rating. And is it available just to rent still, or is it? Or is it not?
Shit, I just backed out. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I think it's still in theaters, right?
Nope, not in theaters anymore. It's It's available to buy and rent. Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, Fandango, and yep, that's it. And Amazon.
The next one, Mind, Body, and Spirit. Did you see that yet?
Yes, I did. I didn't watch it when we were originally going to record, but I watched it afterwards.
Okay. So this is a low budget film.
Found footage.
Oh, found footage. That's right. Oh, is this the one, the found footage rules you have an issue with?
No, there's
Okay.
one at the very end.
Okay. An aspiring yoga influencer embarks on a ritual practice left behind by her estranged grandmother. I thought it was an interesting concept for a film. I think this film struggled with delivery
Yes.
and consistency. I think the whole premise here is that she's left this house from her grandmother, and her grandmother was into some weird shit.
Yep.
And I don't quite get if her grandmother wanted, like, what her grandmother, if it was like, purposefully,
Yes, I think it was.
right?
I think her name was. I think the main character's name was even on the book she found.
Okay. I don't know why her grandmother targeted her.
Right.
I'm not quite sure. But
Yep.
I will say there's a really good kill in this.
Yes.
Even though you don't see the kill happen, I thought the aftermath was good. I don't know. As a low budget I think that it was interesting. And I think it takes a lot of guts to make a movie. I think they did a pretty decent job with it. I think the concept was there. There was just some, I think it dragged out a little too long as well. Like, how long was this runtime? 88
Uh,
minutes. This,
yeah,
this probably should have
88.
been 60 minutes.
Yeah, like 60 to 70, I think would have been good.
Right. I don't know. What do you think? You saw it more recently than I did.
Yeah, I'd say the acting's decent. It's the whole social media influencer thing because she's making yoga training videos. Just some very dumb decisions. The found footage aspect, I don't remember anything jumping out at me that they did wrong with it.
Hmm.
But it was just the dumb decisions this character made, like, oh, a creepy old book with my name written in it and these weird cantations and things in it. Oh, this must be some yoga exercises. I'm gonna use these.
Yeah.
It's like, huh? What?
Yeah. Yeah. That I didn't like. I didn't quite get the whole, like, I'm going to use this as part of my yoga.
It's like,
I don't know.
why? What?
It was,
Like
it was kind I don't know. I thought it was making fun of yoga, which is fine. Like, I don't know. But, like,
it just didn't make any sense to me.
yeah.
Like,
And, like, her friend continuously showing up, or maybe her friend. I don't even
yeah,
know if they
like
were friends.
it didn't seem like they were, but they were. Like they just didn't
Yeah.
have any chemistry at all.
Yeah, and there was supposed to be some kind of like social media part of it, I think, but I didn't quite get the social media part of it.
Yeah, because I think she was supposed to be like making videos to be an influencer, but she hadn't
Yeah.
uploaded a single one of the videos yet or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But I don't know how this footage was found and how any of that part takes place in the found footage part. But
I
sure,
know.
okay. Yeah, it was just okay. Like it wasn't. I haven't forgotten anything in it. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just okay. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. Like okay, yeah, if this was on TV, I'd probably stop and
Yeah.
kind of watch a
Yeah.
few minutes of it. It
Yeah.
wasn't just. It was just there.
I think that's a fair rating for it. It is available to rent. I don't know how much I think about paying for this. This seems like a Tubi watch to me.
Yes.
But I think out of all the low budgets we've seen, it's definitely one of the better ones when it comes to utilizing your budget with what you have and making it simple and effective. Like in that sense, not
Oh, I
using like
completely agree.
not making it overly cheesy. But yeah, I don't know if you're interested in watching it. It is on Apple TV, Google Play, Microsoft Store, YouTube, Amazon Video. Again, if I'm saying I think it's a Tubi watch, you can imagine how much I think this is worth renting. So I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, if you're interested, right?
Yep, and the next one you and I both watched, right?
Yes, we did. The Horror in the High Desert.
Yes. The desert. So yeah, Horror in the High Desert 3. Desert, Heather.
Fire
Desert.
watch.
Fire. Runtime of 88 minutes. Tagline: Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they can't see you. Synopsis: As a wildfire bears down on the opposite side of the state, Oscar Mendoza, armed with a secret, takes advantage of the distraction and journeys to northeastern Nevada in search of missing outdoorsman Gary Hinge's last known whereabouts. So I really loved the first Horror in the High Desert. I thought that was a
Mm-hmm.
really good, like, found footage mockumentary style film. Part two, I don't remember much from, so I'm not. It's now that I remember liking it at the time, but now I don't remember much. And I gotta say, with this one, like as time, like I liked it at first, but as time has gone on, I'm also forgetting anything that happened in this film. So it ended up being I ended up just dropping my rating down to a 3 out of 5 because I would still watch it if it was on somewhere. But I honestly don't remember much from this one. Like it just, I'm gonna read Matt Wood's review. Just maybe that'll
Yeah.
help me because good old Matt writes his reviews down. I should start doing that for some of these movies. I
Yeah.
swear.
Yeah.
He says these films rely on one's personal fear of the dark and what could possibly lie beyond, and the director Dutch is a master of this, using abandoned mines, schools, and other locations in which to continue the story, as usual in the mockumentary style. However, this one fell shorter for me than the last two. Wasn't as creepy, you didn't actually see anything, and the story's getting a bit thin on the ground. There's likely to be another film, but hopefully it retains more of the spooky ambience of the first two films. So, yeah, that doesn't rekindle much in my brain reading that either. But what did
No,
you
I
think?
just remember a lot of walking and a lot of videoing of nothing and a lot
Yeah,
of build up to nothing. And like there was some okay payoffs, but I'll be honest, these have progressively gone down for me.
yeah, same.
I thought the first one was really well done and really clever. I thought the second one was okay. This I found boring. I did not care. And I felt bad, but why does all of a sudden Oscar care? I'm sure they explained it, but I really didn't care about Oscar.
Right?
I didn't have any like I don't know. I don't really have any engagement in this. And maybe it's because I didn't watch it carefully enough, but I just really I don't know. I feel like this is a situation. It's like sometimes you shouldn't make sequels.
Yeah, sometimes
You know,
building on the lore without actually really building on the lore doesn't do much.
right? Sometimes one movie's better.
Sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes one movie's better. Like
Yeah,
Lake Mongo. We don't
yeah.
have sequels to Lake Mongo.
Cabin in
We
the
don't need to
Woods.
have a sequel. Yes, Cabin in the Woods. We don't need to have a sequel to Cabin in the Woods. I hope we
Exactly.
don't have a sequel to A Violent Nature. In A Violent Nature.
Oh, there's going to be one. They already announced it.
Ugh. Like I feel like there's times where you just have to let the movie be and let that be the movie,
Yes.
right? And I think that this is one where they should have done that.
Yeah, because I got excited when I seen it was a part 3. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to watch. And then I'm like, I thought it was decent, but then, yeah, as time has gone on, I've already forgotten
Right?
any key elements of it. So I'm going, well, that's not a good sign.
Right. And I think it's on Tubi, right?
No, that was on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Amazon to rent.
Mm, it
And yeah,
should be a
unless
Tubi
you are,
watch.
yeah, I'd say it's to be watch or $1.99 rental if you are wanting to watch another one in the horror and the high desert franchise. But
Or
yeah,
High Dessert.
or high desert as Heather likes to call it.
Every time I see it, I'm like, dessert. Horror in the high dessert. And I picture like
Yes.
this like horror cupcake tray of like yumminess that I'm gonna eat. The next one was one that started. It's funny because Scott liked the beginning, disliked the end.
Yes.
I am flip it down and reverse it. Disliked the beginning, didn't mind the ending. So, do you want to lead this in, or do you want me to lead it in?
Sure, I'll lead this one in.
Okay.
So this one is called Visher, Visher, a 65-minute runtime, so very nice and short.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I guess you would call this kind of like a online social media type. Would count it in that area of found footage because it's not really found footage, but it's like it's done through like the found footage style online.
Yes. Yes.
The synopsis is an online scammer's obsession with women takes a nightmarish turn when he witnesses a haunting series of events within her home, all through the lens of her webcam. So yeah, this is basically one of those guys that basically will call you up and be like, "Hey, I need your bank account information. This is the bank. We need your account because there is something going on, something that's gone wrong. I need your account information so I can fix it." And then, of course, if you're not used to or you're gullible, you fall for this trap of giving out your account number because you obviously know the bank will not be calling you like this and asking you for your information.
No, this is
But
true. This
people
is
do
true.
fall for it, and he's one of those type that does the scamming. Sounds like he's only doing it trying to make money on his end, and not really worrying about the repercussions of what it's doing to everybody else. But as the movie progresses, he starts kind of gaining a conscience, if you will. Um, but
Yes. Yes. Yes.
but yeah, he ends up talking to this woman and he ends up being kind of attracted to her. And then, like, it starts. At first, I was like, oh, God, this movie's kind of dumb. What the fuck? And then it got to the
Sorry, that's
and
funny.
then it got to this point where I'm going, okay, I'm a little more invested because like there seems to be like this interesting chemistry between the two of them that's kind of got me intrigued to see how this plays out. And then a supernatural element comes into it, and I'm going, okay, this is very generic, but at the same time, I'll roll with it. Let's see how this finishes off. I'm kind of liking
Right?
this. It's okay. And then there's this weird twist that just felt unnecessary and so random. And what the fuck?
Yeah,
How,
it
like,
was random. It
and
was
also
random.
just kind of unbelievable, but that she would have been able to find find this specific person so easily. And then the very ending with what the guy ends up doing, what the fuck happened? This movie went from, this is generic to, let's stop making this generic and make this what the fuck. And then let's stop making this what the fuck to make it depraved. It's like, where is this going, movie?
Yeah, it was like it just kept going in this like kamikaze circle. You know what I mean? It was like, meow, meow.
Yeah, it was like, what the
It's weird.
fuck?
It was weird. I don't
Like,
know. I did appreciate the twist. I was like, yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah, conduppins, and but I was like this, and then I was like, what? And
yeah.
I was
But
like,
then it
what the
just
fuck is happening? What
then
the
it
fuck
took
is
a
happening?
at first the twist made it take a left turn, and then it did a complete 180, and then took a right turn, then a sharp left turn, then another left turn, and you're just like, huh, where are you? What?
Yeah, by that point you're like, I don't even understand what happened in the last hour. Um,
Yeah,
I will say you know what? Props to the person that wrote this. I feel like the person that wrote it starred in it. I feel like,
it felt
it
like
seems
it.
like one of
Yeah,
those films, right? Hey, you know what? You put effort into something. It was creative. I'm glad it's on Tubi. Thank you for being on Tubi because that's where you should be.
right.
Um, hey, you know what? If you're looking for something that's a little more different or an idea of how a first film could look like for, any of your average podcasters out there who want to make a horror movie, I think this is an example of what kind of quality you could expect to make. Again, check it out. For the Jason Grays of the world, check it out. Dave Bailey's, check it out. Other people, I would say, like, just skip this. You're not gonna, I don't think, take anything from it. What do you think?
Yeah, like no, like I would have given this movie originally like a 2.5 with the way it was going, 2.5 to 3. Like, okay, actually probably 3 because I was remembering bits of it. It dropped down to a 2 by the end, 2 out of 5. Like it was just, what the fuck did you do, movie?
Well, I have another what the fuck. The Mousetrap. It's
Oh boy.
this is not the fun house. It's Alice's 21st birthday. Yay! But she's stuck at the amusement arcade on her late shift. Aw. So her friends decide to surprise her. Yay! But a masked killer dressed as Mickey Mouse decides to play a game of his own
Oh.
with them, which she must survive. First off, the guys from the Butchers were in this. Shout out to the dudes from the Butchers.
Oh really?
Yeah, one was the cop and one was the killer.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So Negative Nelly, Matt Wood
I
wrote.
want to read what he's.
You want to read it?
Well, I mean, I want to hear what he has to say.
This isn't the worst thing I've seen this year, but it's up there. You don't know what the worst thing is, Matt. The worst thing you're going to see me is at your door in September when I come visit you. Following on from the Winnie the Pooh theme, you'll get this Mickey Mouse. Some dude randomly decides to put on the mouse mask and goes on killing kids around an arcade hall. The kills are shit, the scripting and acting is pretty bad, and the whole thing slides along like a snail on
Ketamine.
ketamine? Ketamine?
Ketamine, yeah. Special K.
The best thing about the whole film was the intro, and the rest sucked. I don't know. I didn't agree with that. I was here for it. Oh, it was great.
Yeah. I remember you said, like, you were like, oh my God, this is fun. You got to watch it. So
I
Eric
had
and
a
I
fun
watched
time.
it. I gave this a 2.5 out of 5. Like, it was.
What's wrong with you all?
Ugh.
It
The
was hilarious.
character, like, I had so many issues. Like, for one, this felt like just because Steamboat Willie copyright has become public domain, this just felt like they already had a movie made and they went, oh, Steamboat Willie's now available? Okay. Let's kind of just show Steamboat Willie cartoon in the very beginning, him put on a mouse mask. That's it.
Because he was called by the demons.
For
Made total sense to me.
What demon?
You know what I mean? So he has a makeshift movie theater, idolizing all the movies that have become out of copyright this year. And while he's watching this amazing movie from the 1920s, he goes crazy. Like I would too if I had to watch some shitty movie. And I don't know, if you work in a kid's arcade Chuck E. Cheese shit for long enough, you go crazy. and you got to fuck shit up. And I think this movie is number one of the year. I think this is
Ha ha ha!
it's the best, actually. When I think of plot development, no
Ugh.
holes, none.
None
All of it
whatsoever.
makes sense.
No.
And you know what the best part is? The narration between the one chick and the cops totally made sense. Totally played off at the end. Totally made sense. Absolutely. Got it. Now, I will say the ending made me laugh because they when they think that they've solved the problem, but they haven't.
Uh-huh. I was gonna say I was like, okay, good job there, movie. That
Right?
caught me by surprise.
I didn't know there was a roller coaster in this arcade, though. That was kind of cool. Little mini indoor roller coaster.
I will say that arcade looked fun. Had a
You don't want
VR
to go hang out
area.
there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this definitely has the thing that I did not have an issue with Deer Camp 86, where I'm looking at this group of people going, none of y'all would be real friends.
No. No, these
None
are
of you
all
would
just
all be
people
hanging out together.
they got together to make this movie. This is not a good movie. Despite what I said, I know this may strike you. It's not a good movie, but I love this movie. Like last year when I was injured and I told Scott how much I loved Killer Book Club. I'm not injured, but I will stand by that I love The Mousetrap. I also loved Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I am fucking here for it. I am here for all this shit.
I mean,
What
you know me.
you know?
I'm gonna watch all these movies just because I'm here for the copyright, public domain shit. But
Fuck yeah.
I did. I'm waiting for the better Steamboat Willie movie to come out, which they just released a teaser trailer for, and that's Screamboat, where David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, is playing Mickey Mouse. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for that.
I was here for this Mousetrap movie, though. I loved it. I'd watch it again. That's how much I liked it. And I respect the 1-star ratings on here. I respect your 2.5-star ratings. Like, if I'm real, this is a 1-star. But in my heart, it's a 5-star. And I've gone through some shit, so no one can argue with me on this because I'm sad. So if this makes me happy, fuck all you. But it's bravo, right? But yeah, I don't know. You're right. They probably just threw the shit together. I want to know who has a cinema like that.
Right.
And like, I didn't quite get it. Like, he finished his shift and he's like, "Oh man, time to relax with some 1920 cartoons." Like,
Right.
but hey, I was here for it. So if you're like me and you like such classics as Mary Had a Little Lamb and really loved Winnie the Pooh a lot and get upset when people criticize it, and you have and you also liked Killer Book Club, then you too may enjoy The Mousetrap.
And I mean,
You have taste and you kind of stagnate and don't watch this movie.
I mean, and I can't really fault you or anything like that. I respect it. I respect the game because, I mean, you know me. I see the dumb, drug-fueled animal movies like the rip-off Cocaine Bear movies, and I'm here for them. Whether they're good or not, I'm here for them.
Right. But no, this is not a good movie. But I feel like they knew that making it, though. I feel like they're like, this is a piece of shit. Right?
We can probably make a quick buck off this.
This should be on Tubi, but it's not. It's on Apple. It's on Google Play, YouTube, Microsoft Store, Fandango. I don't know. Unless you really like cheesy shit and really bad shit, don't rent this. But if you're like me and I don't know, you do, then
like I didn't hate my time with it. That's why I was a 2.5.
What did Erica think?
She tuned out halfway through. She was like, "Yep, I'm good."
She's like, "This shit is dumb." These people are like, "Erica, shush." Tell her that's what I'm gonna do for my birthday when she comes up. That's what we're gonna do. And then it's gonna be me though in the Mickey Mouse mask running around chasing you guys.
Yes.
Tell her that's the outfit I'm wearing to their wedding.
I like these movies.
Oh yeah. I'm like it.
Ignore the plot.
Right. All right. So what's the next one that we have here? Oh, that's me.
Yep, this one I have not seen yet.
Yeah. All right. So.
Oh wow. So yeah, the next 4 I have not seen.
I'll stop chewing my gum. It's time for me to get serious.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, M. Night Shyamalan is back in the ring again, with another movie that everyone's gonna love to hate, and it's called Trap. I don't know. I feel like there's 2 types of M. Night Shyamalan. There's The Village, Sixth Sense, Split, and then there's
Visit.
The Visit. Then there's Old,
Glass,
Trap.
Oh boy.
Knock on a Cabin goes either way for people.
I like
depending
that one.
I like all this stuff. Honestly, I enjoy all his movies. I find them all good. I
Like
haven't seen Lady in the Water. I think that's the only one I haven't seen yet.
yeah, it's like, cause I'll watch pretty much anything of his because he is very hit or miss. But I will watch anything of his because it's when he hits hard. When he misses, he just kind of more or less stumbles. I wouldn't say misses
Yeah.
horribly.
Yeah. I would say where like Old was universally disliked. Though I did not hate Old. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I would say, where Knock on the Cabin was more liked. I would say Trap falls between those two.
Okay.
Um
I've been
I
curious about this one.
I liked it. I think Josh Hartnett steals the show. I think he pulls off this character extremely well. Probably didn't hurt that the entire thing was filmed down the street from my house in a stadium that I've been in many, 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 many times. And there's a little nod to Hamilton because one of the code words that they say in there is Hamilton,
Oh, nice.
which was a nice little nod to M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, giving that Canadian love because we always like it, little Canadians, when you shout out our cities that you used, that you're pretending is American trash cities. I don't think this movie, I don't think the trailer gives it all away. Someone online said that, and I actually corrected them. They're like, well, I didn't go watch it because the trailer gives it all away. I'm like, well, you're wrong.
Yeah, say, well, then you didn't watch it and know for sure.
Right? So it doesn't. Does it give certain parts of it away? Yeah, but to be honest with you, you kind of figure out the just right at the beginning. So what the little synopsis is a father and teen daughter attend a pop concert where they realize they're at the center of a dark and sinister event. That's a very good tagline for no one who's seen the movie or seen the trailer or anything like that. I think the daughter is really well played. M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is in this. She plays.
Yeah, say she's the pop star, isn't she?
She is the pop star. I thought she did a great job.
Now saying this is the same daughter I think that directed The Watchers.
I think so. Yeah. So she's very good, but Josh Hartnett steals the show. He carries this film very, very well. And I think that it was nice to see him in a role where he could kind of flex that acting muscle. But this is going to be a real divider for fans. I would say if you like majority of Shyamalanga Ding Dong films, you'll probably be lukewarm on this. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I did think it dragged out a little bit, but that's kind of with M and I Shyamalan Ding Dong films. Sometimes they do drag out more than you want them to.
Right.
But man, is he creative, and does he come up with cool shit? Right. And yeah, there's lots of plot holes in this, and that wouldn't happen or that wouldn't happen. It wouldn't like, but fuck off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just got to be like, well, it did. And this was the route they went with, and we're just going to turn our brains off and accept it. I don't know how Erica will feel about this one.
I know she was curious about it because I know she's like me with M. Night. Yeah. She likes to watch everything that he makes, and not all of it will be good, but we're always curious.
I would say watch it. I would say it's better than Old. I think people like it more than they liked Old. People say things like I hate Old, and I'm like, I hate. I don't know. Yeah, that's a strong word.
I rolled my eyes at Old, but it wasn't horrible. I just like, okay. But
and there were some things where I was like, yeah, I get that. It's about taking for granted your life and taking for granted
for sure.
Stuff, right? But I don't know. I think this is an interesting film. I would say watch it. It's out of theaters now, so it's on Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft Store. I don't know if this is something. If you are an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong fan, then I would say definitely check it out. If you're a mediocre fan, check it out because I do think this is better than his duds. But
gotcha. Okay,
I'm not saying that it's no Village, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Right. All right. So yeah, it looks like you got the next couple, and then
all right, where are we?
Together, and then a bunch more.
Dead Sea. All right, Scott. Do you remember the movie Taken?
Yes. This Eric and I seen the trailer to this one, and we're like, yeah, we're good.
What if it was taken on a boat? Mm-hmm. But only it's a different kind of harvest that they're taking people for.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. So these two chicks go with their boyfriends to an island. They live in Florida Keys, and they get on some fucking jet skis, and they go out to some fucking island, and the boys are being idiots and trying to impress the girls, and there's an accident, and shit happens. And they get saved, but they get saved by someone who has devious intentions.
Knew it.
Continue. I liked it. It was interesting, easy to watch. Again, we watch a lot of movies here on Friday Nightmares
Well,
as
you
a
watch a
premium
lot of movies.
podcast.
Me, not as much anymore.
As premium professional podcasters. This made my little Heather heart entertained. It's a paint by numbers movie. If I was chilling on a Saturday afternoon and it came on and I just needed something easy to watch, I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
It's not gonna rock anyone's world, but it moved quickly enough. It's an 88-minute runtime. The main character is endearing enough. She makes decisions that are pretty good for the situation she's in. To be honest with you, with the exception of the accident, I wouldn't say her decision making is poor.
Oh, okay.
I would say that, and that's just teenagers being teenagers, right? Like I could
Yeah.
see young people getting into this kind of accident. Her choices, especially when she finds out what is happening, I think are pretty brave. And to be honest with you, pretty smart. So I won't criticize that. I think the amount that the characters go through and either survive or don't are a little silly. But I think in terms, because there's multiple characters in this, but I think in terms of an easygoing movie to sit down and watch, it's fine. If this came for free on Shudder or Netflix or Tubi, I would watch it. I would recommend it. If you enjoy this kind of like hero has to outsmart evil dudes, young girl in danger outsmarts dudes on ships, like then you would like this movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's like when you put on Ghost Ship and you're like, not a great film, or Final Destination 4. Not a great film, but comfort.
Exactly.
And predictability. That's like this film. That's Dead Z for you. So
Gotcha. Okay.
it is, yeah. Like I wouldn't say run out and watch it, but I would say to you, if anyone here is listening, they're looking for something easy to watch. If it comes up and it's free, why not?
Right.
Google Play, Microsoft stores where it's available. Where else is it available? YouTube, Spectrum on Demand. I don't know. If what I described sounds like something you dig, I would say rent it. If not, you can skip over it. The Last Breath.
Is this is one of the shark films, right?
This is Julian Sands' last.
Yes.
I feel like we've been watching a lot of Julian Sands since he died in January of 2023. Like this is his last film. Like for realsies, he didn't.
Rest
This
in
is
peace,
his
Julian Sands.
rest in peace, Julian Sands.
Horrible way too.
Yeah, he was hiking, wasn't he?
Yep, was hiking and just was never found again. And then like they came across his body like at some point, like his remains.
Wild.
Yeah,
Wild,
that is
right?
crazy to me.
And it's a shame because he really was a pretty cool actor.
Yeah, really nice dude. I got to meet him at a convention.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, years and years and years ago. He actually did like a quick intro for the Horror Drunks podcast back when that was a thing.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, really
I
nice
didn't know
gentleman.
that. Wow. Well, unfortunately, the movie that he went out on, well, not unfortunately, this movie isn't horrible, was The Last Breath, and he was good in it. He was good in everything he was in, though. So rest in peace, Julian Sands. But this is a sharky film. The fight to survive is on. A group of old college friends reunite on a Caribbean scuba dive trip exploring the wreckage of a World War II battleship and find themselves trapped inside the underwater labyrinth of rusted metal surrounded by great white sharks. I am going to give a spoiler here because I'm glad this movie didn't do it. There's no fucking ghosts in this movie. So don't worry. There's actually no ghosts. None. No ghosts. Not a shark movie mixed with ghosts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, ooga booga, and then ghosty, and then sharky. It's a shark fucking film.
Good.
It's like, so what you see is what you get here. Compared to the one about the Bachelorette where the girls go out on the boat and come back and slowly all perish or whatever the fuck they do.
God, that movie was painful.
This is a lot better.
Okay.
But if you've seen a shark movie, you've seen them all, right?
Pretty
You
much.
can predict what's going to happen here. Friends are going to go out, shit goes down. Now, these friends all know how to scuba dive and have some kind of water knowledge. So the choices that are made make a little bit more sense. And you can kind of get the cockiness of some of them because they've obviously been in situations before. And there's a level of confidence.
Right.
So I would say if you like shark films, this is worth it. Tim Davis, who is our shark film expert, wrote a review. And he said, I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did, but this is an enjoyable shark film. It does absolutely nothing new. It's hard to do something new in the shark genre unless you eat Paris. That's new. But what it does well. The last film from Julian Stans, in my opinion, went out with a bang. This has enjoyable characters, some pretty cool shark kills, and some really suspenseful moments. All around, I dug it. I think that's a great way to sum it up. If you like sharky films, you'll probably enjoy this. It'll probably be worth the rental. It is available to rent on Google Play, YouTube, Amazon, Apple TV, and Microsoft Store. It ranges anywhere from $4.99 to a $6.99 price. I would say if you like shark movies, then it's worth paying for it for yourself.
Good to know, because yeah, this one is definitely one I want to watch just because it's Julian Sands, and I usually like to try to watch all the shark films too.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's especially because we do have an awards, I think, for shark film, don't we? And
yes.
we've had enough this year that we actually could.
Right.
So the next one is Lore.
This is one I'm looking forward to checking out.
This is a British film.
Oh God, here we go.
So Matt Wood was in it. Just kidding. Richard Brake was in it, though.
Giving everything like 2 stars.
Matt was drunk the whole time. He was like, "Oh Lord, oh, it's at the pub." Richard Brake's in this movie. He doesn't have a big role, but anytime Richard Brake shows up on TV, I'm like, no.
I love Richard Brake. Was he a sleazeball?
Yes, kind of. Like he was kind of the storyteller. So the synopsis is these people go on this like immersive horror experience. And okay, you know what kind of reminded me of? Campfire Tales, minus the fucking drinking and driving fucking PSA that's in that one.
So it's an anthology.
It's an anthology. So they show up at this campground, and the friends all take turns telling stories. All the stories are entertaining. Some stories are better than others. I really enjoyed the last one. I thought the last one was really cool. The ending was confusing. I feel like they either I don't know how they filmed this, but I feel like the ending kind of left things a little like you kind of know what's going to happen in terms of the wraparound, but it could have been a stronger wraparound. That being said, we haven't had a lot of good anthologies in a long time. Is there another anthology that came out this year?
I
can't even think of one.
Let me see. I just got to scroll down.
Yeah.
I've only gotten 2 so far.
What are the 2?
Midnight Peep Show and All Hallows Eve Trickster.
Okay. I'm going to go on a limb that this is better than both of those. I remember Midnight Peep Show.
Yeah.
This is definitely better than Midnight Peep Show. So this may be the best anthology of the year that we've seen.
We do have VHS Beyond coming out, I think, in October. So
VHS are hits and misses for me. Hits and misses for me. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll say they're always like at least entertaining, whether they're good or debatable.
So this is a 92-minute runtime. If you like anthologies, I definitely think it's entertaining. All of the stories are decent. It's available to rent on Google, Microsoft Store, YouTube, Fandango, and Amazon. Again, if you like anthologies, it's definitely worth checking out. And you like the UK, and you've been there like me, because then you really understand it because you're just so much more cultured as a premium podcaster. Actually, Matt and I and Kate and my friend Mark, we're gonna make the sequel to this. We're all gonna be drunk, so
oh god,
none of the stories are gonna make sense. It's gonna be like Drunk History, you know, the TV show Drunk History.
Yeah,
we're all just gonna forget names of shit, and it's gonna just be chaos. So it'll be great. Coming to theaters 2026. No, who am I kidding? Coming for an additional huge crazy price on Google Play because no one will want to watch it. Coming for $300 on Google Play because no one will want to rent it. Hellhole.
All right, I can take over.
You can talk this one because this was an awkward one where they talk in a really weird way, Scotty, and it's a really odd way to deliver lines.
So, yes, Hellhole. Most recent release on Shudder was a 92-minute runtime. This was made by the Addams Family. No, not not the TV series Addams Family. This is made by the people that did The Deeper You Dig.
Your
Devil,
Mama.
Hold on a second. Let me pull up the.
I'm pulling it up. Crew, actors. John. So Hellbender, The Deeper You Dig, The Devil You Know. Oh, Where the Devil Roams.
Yes, there we go. Where the Devil Roams. We have like Hellbender and that one. Okay, so this is their 4th movie, and I was thinking I had only seen 3 of their films, or this would have been my 3rd film of theirs I'd seen. I did not realize they did Deeper You Dig. But as it seems to be a running thing with the Adams family, none of their movies have connected with me. They all were just kind of weird and didn't keep me invested. So I was hoping with Hellhole being this like super like creepy looking creature feature, I was like, okay, I'll read the synopsis real quick. So uh, tagline: a whole new kind of hell, and whole spelled HOLE.
Like a hole in the ground.
Yeah, like a hole in my head. Um, synopsis is: far away in the desolate Serbian wilderness, a U.S. led fracking crew uncover a dormant monster gestating inside a centuries old French soldier. Now awakened and exposed in its most dangerously fragile state, it tears through the men on the grounds in search of a new womb. Um, yeah, so this is kind of like the Adams family's version of The Thing, just not done as well. Um, it's got some cool, gory, explodey bits, which cool. Creature looked quite interesting and detailed. Practical effects for the most part. The explodey stuff I think was done CGI. Um, but story kind of dragged. I was not invested in any of the characters, and I think you were the one that mentioned it, and it clicked with me. I think with everything that this family has done, which I give props to this family because they do this as a family, making these movies. But I think it's the way they write and deliver their dialogue. It just feels awkward and not natural.
It's how they think people would talk if they
Yeah,
were. I think they're actual aliens that are
like
just in people form, and
because
they're trying to tell us through these movies.
it's not like it's like they don't really show emotion.
No, there is some scenes where there is some emotion.
Yeah, but not a
Um,
lot.
one of the characters that's there temporarily, we'll say, I thought showed some emotion. The one that you meet at the beginning.
Oh, yes.
Um, but I think that some of the other people, I don't know, they're all digging this oil rig thing and they're all odd. But I will say, as odd as it was, I did find it quite endearing. And I enjoyed the awkwardness. I don't know why. I did enjoy the awkward dialogue, and I feel like this will hit people differently. It is awkward dialogue. You are 100% right, but for some reason, it didn't take me out of it. And this is where preference and personal taste comes into application. These guys, like, I feel like it's when, remember years ago when we watched The Lighthouse and I wanted to like drown my eyes out and you
Hmm.
enjoyed it? Yeah. So, like, I feel like it's something like that. You know, there's going to be people like you that are like, this dialogue is awkward. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. This dialogue is awkward, but it didn't take me out of it. And you're like, oh, fuck, man, I could barely keep my, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
such a preference, right? Like, it's not a bad movie. It's just, it's really going to depend on your preference. Like, there's some movies like The Mousetrap where you're like, yeah, this is shitty film. Like, this is just, you know,
right,
how we dice it. But something like this, it really is going to depend on where you sit in terms of your preferences for
right. And
filmmaking.
I think you just like the Adams family, they have a style and they've
Mm-hmm.
stuck with it through every one of their films. And I think that for me, that style just doesn't get me invested.
It doesn't hit you in your yes spot. It hits you in your no spot,
Or it hits me in the what am I watching spot.
which is even a worse spot. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, because I was like, okay, I like a lot of the concepts of this movie. I am intrigued, and it didn't do it for me, which is
Well,
disappointing.
it is going to be on the Shuddy. It is on the Shuddy.
Yeah,
So if for some reason you have Shudder and you're a fan or not a fan, I would say check it out. It's only a 92-minute runtime. We're not looking at like a 2.5 hour film here.
right.
You got Shudder and you're a Shudder. You know, you watch the new releases. I do always recommend watching the new releases from Shudder, because I do think that they pick up interesting shit.
Most of the
And
time.
this is at least interesting, right?
Yeah.
So the next one is
Okay. The
Consumed.
next, yeah, I'll say the next few are gonna be
All me, right? You didn't
all
see
you
any of
again
these?
till the M type milk one.
Oh yeah, milk. All right, Consume. Relationship horror, Scott. Here we go, here we go, here we go again. What's the problem? Love.
Okay, then.
Nice. Married couple Jay and Beth take a celebratory camping trip a year after Beth's cancer remission. All right, I'm gonna make this clear. If that was me, I'd be going to fucking Bahamas and getting it fucking hammed. It would not
Right.
be going camping, but hey, we all got probably in the States and they can't afford anything now because of all the healthcare bills.
Fair.
Find themselves trapped between a wild madman and a skin-stealing monster. Okay, so there's a lot of metaphors in this movie.
Oh
A
boy.
lot that has to do with cancer and consuming the body.
Huh.
That's this movie. So, I'm gonna give like a trigger warning to anyone who's had cancer or maybe has a loved one that's had cancer.
Right.
That's maybe something that you want to be aware of. And something that you may not want to have people watch. It's very dialogue heavy. It's interesting enough when it comes to the special effects and stuff. Like, it's not bad. But I don't know. This is definitely camping gone wrong, mixed with relationships, mixed with and the husband and wife seem to kind of have a shitty relationship, but then not have a shitty relationship. It kind of couldn't decide what it wanted to be. This had the potential to be a really, really fucking cool movie. And I feel like it kind of just let it go. But let it go. But I don't know if you like monster films and you like this whole the monster is this consuming somebody, you may like this movie. It is an
Gotcha. Okay.
89-minute runtime. It is available on Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, Cineplex in Canada, and Fandango. Again, only watch this movie if you really do like relationship horror and metaphoric horror, because that's what this basically is.
Would you recommend it for me?
By yourself, yes.
Okay.
At work. Don't make Erica watch this film. She's going to be like, what the fuck is these people doing? I think you may find it interesting by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. This next one, watch with Erica. So this for me is in contention for horror comedy of the year.
Ooh.
We Are Zombies. In a city infested with the living impaired, aka non-cannibal zombies, 3 slackers after easy money must fight small-time crooks and an evil mega corporation to save their kidnapped grandma. I was fucking here for this. All you out there that like Psycho Gorman, all you out there that liked Kids versus Aliens, this shit's for you.
Oh hell yeah.
Welcome
Okay.
to this year's We Are Zombies. Because if you liked any of those movies I suggested, you're fucking gonna like this, I can assure you. I don't know why Shuddy didn't pick this up.
I mean, they still
Should have
might.
been a Shudder watch. Yeah, they probably will next year because it is pretty fucking fun. It is a hair flip Canadian film. I did not know that going into it, just so we're clear. But it is definitely a horror comedy. It is comedy horror. I don't know. It's kind of a mix of both. It's about zombies and shit. I'm going to get some pushback from this, but I'm going to say it. I found this as funny as Shaun of the Dead.
Ooh, those are some big words there.
I didn't say funnier, but when I think of funny zombie films, this would be up there for me.
Wow, okay, that's some high praise.
For me. Other people may not agree, and that's okay. Not shitting on Shaun of the Dead, just so we're clear.
Better not be.
Of course not. It's a classic. But this is a lot of fun. I definitely think you should watch it with Erica. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's meant to be silly. It's meant to be gory and fucking, oh man, I was fucking here for it. The living impaired shit is really funny. They're kind of wink and nods at wokeism and how we treat people, or people that are, I don't know, considered less than in society. There was definitely some comparisons here. Not heavy hitting, but just like, yeah, man, like this is fucking how it rolls. And it's great. The main characters in this are all affable. None of them have been in really big films or anything as of yet. They're all kind of just beginner actors. One was in The Sacrifice Game, which was not a good movie. But the rest of them, yeah. And one of them was in Open Water Cage Dive. Another one was in Pray for the Bride. But she in this was fucking great. Honestly, this goes to show you when people like sometimes you do what you got to do. You know what I mean? To make money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get put in another movie that's actually really quite comical and you do really well. But again, this is kids versus aliens, Psycho Gorman kind of shit. If you didn't like those movies, you're probably not going to like this. But if you like those movies, you're probably going to like this. So yes, Scotty, this is a 10 out of 10 you should watch.
Fuck yeah. Okay. I will definitely
Right?
check this out.
Right? So these guys also did Summer of 84 and Turbo Kid.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Right? So Summer of 84, Turbo Kid, let's see, Wake Up, which I don't know what that one is. And some other random like low budget films, but Summer of 84 is probably their biggest well-known one.
Yeah, and Turbo Kid, like Summer 84 I thought was good. Turbo Kid I thought was fucking great.
Yeah, so if you like that, you will definitely enjoy this. It's a lot of fun. It is available on Apple TV, Google Play, Hoopla, Microsoft Store. Honestly, this is worth whatever you spend. If you like what I said, you will like this film. You will enjoy it.
Awesome. All right.
Mhm.
I'll definitely check this out.
All right, let's see here. And then Oddity. So this is a film from Ireland. And I will say, when the Irish put out a fucking horror film, they put out a fucking horror film. They don't do a lot, but when they do it right. They're always good or entertaining.
Yeah.
Or at least the ones I've seen. And I know people have different views on them, but they're always interesting and well done. So Oddity is every murder lives on. After the brutal murder of her twin sister Darcy, after the brutal murder of her twin sister, Darcy goes after those responsible by using haunted items as her revenge tools. Fuck yeah. Folklore, murder mystery, Cabinet of Curiosities creepy store, and none of it done cheesy. Welcome to Oddity. If this is not in my top 5 of the year, I will be shocked.
Wow, okay.
This movie will probably not get a lot of people watching it because it is a slow burn. It's heavy on character development. It's heavy on conversation. You have to be focused watching it. This is something Erica would enjoy.
Okay, perfect. Because, yeah, this is one that I've been wanting to watch.
This is definitely one that you need to watch before the end of this year.
Yeah, I say, because I've been hearing really good things about this.
Yeah. There's not much I can say because I can't give spoilers. All I will say is I want to watch it again. And Scott knows I don't watch movies more than once because I think it's a waste of time. So the fact that I want to watch it a second time, I actually even rewind it to rewatch the ending.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a really, really well-made, again, an example of films that can come out of the UK that are good is this film right here. Fuck Underground. This is an example of a very, very good movie. It's available for renting on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon, YouTube, Microsoft Store. It's worth whatever you pay for it, as long as you understand that you need to be focused watching this movie. There's a lot of dialogue. It is a slow burn, but it's not like IFC Midnight slow burn. Like, it makes sense.
Right.
Like, it's not a like, oh man, I need to like really put on my thinking cap to figure this shit out. Like, no, it makes sense. But you do have to be following it.
Right.
In order to get what's happening. So watch this movie, Oddity.
Fuck yeah.
And movie you don't need to watch. Mira. Did you know that Crypt television is this thing that exists? Crypt television? It's like Tales of the Crypt, but only for teenagers.
Yep.
So this is this generation's what I assume Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark as a movie.
Okay.
All right. So Mira, Fear the Monster Inside. Estranged sisters Lizzie and Joe are reunited with their eccentric mother after witnessing their father's mysterious death. A traumatized Lizzie becomes entranced by the haunted mirror, whose sinister role in tearing this family apart is just beginning. This is made for teenagers, very much so, who are just getting into horror. Think Goosebump level. It's that.
Okay.
So if for some reason maybe you have a young person, 12, 13, and they're not Tim Davis's kids because Tim has those kids watching Solo, Megan is Missing. He probably makes them watch The Shining to get them to fall asleep. So if you're a better parent than Tim, just kidding, Tim. Kids raising kids right is what Tim knows I'm kidding.
I know.
His kids aren't going to be fucking wimps, let me tell you. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what dad makes us watch? We could do that shit to you, right?
True.
Some kid's gonna be like, "Oh, I love Halloween Ends," and like Tim's kids are gonna kick the fuck out of them. Um, right, right. You say Halloween Ends 3 times, Tim shows up in the mirror. Be careful,
It's true.
right? What was the character from Halloween Ends? The guy,
Corey.
Corey. You say Corey's name 3 times. Anyway, back to Mirror Mirror. As you could tell, it was really good. I want to talk about Tim instead.
I mean, who doesn't want to talk about
I
Tim?
don't like this is a fucking Goosebumps episode. You know what I mean? Like this was that's why I was like, you don't need to watch this. It was if you have a young person in your life that's just getting into the horror genre, this is a pretty safe watch for them. There's some creepy shit to it that happens for a teenage level of or young kid liking of this film, but it is definitely meant for young adults. You know, I felt like I was reading an R.L. Stein cheesy novel kind of thing, right? And
Right.
even ends like an R.L. Stein cheesy novel. Like it really even ends like, oh no, we'll see what happens. Like it ends like that too. So it's not streaming anywhere yet. I got to watch a screener, lucky me. I'm assuming
Damn.
it's going to be on Crypt Television, whichever the fuck that is. So, yeah, it's okay. No one needs to run out and watch this movie. It's definitely meant for teenagers. So, Project Silence is the last one that I'll be talking about, and then I'll be silent. So, every survivor is a target. Due to the sudden deteriorating weather conditions, visibility on the airport bridge is severely impaired, leaving people stranded and at the risk of the bridge collapsing due to a series of chain collisions and explosions. Amidst the chaos, a K-9 subject echoes from the military experiment Project Silence, who are being transported in secret break free, and all the human survivors become targets of a relentless attack. This is a South Korean film. Matt Wood called it the Korean version of Cujo. Yes, but more happens. Definitely more happens.
Okay.
I don't know. Korean films do shit large. You know what I mean? So this is a
Yes.
large scale trauma event. This is a, poorly made CGI puppies. This is, typical characters that you have a father daughter relationship in peril from, it worked in Train to Busan. So now we just do it in all fucking South Asian movies. It's fine though. It's entertaining. I don't know. If you like South Korean like disaster films, this is easy to watch. I think the boys might like this. It's easy to watch. It's quick. There's lots of action, like being your kids. Um, do they like subtitles?
I don't think Connor minds. I don't know about Jaden.
So Connor might like this. It moves quick. It's, you know, entertaining. It's about a bunch of killer dogs fucking shit up.
All right.
Some good suspenseful scenes. It definitely was sweet in some comparisons that they did. The special effects are great, just as South Korean can do. I don't know. It is what it is. Like this is an average South Korean film. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just kind of there. And I had fun enough watching it. It's not going to be on my top 10 or anything like that, but I had a good time with it. It's not available yet, so I did watch a screener. But when it is available, if what I say sounds like you would dig it, I would say check it out.
All right. Yeah, this one, because I remember you were telling me about this one, so I am curious. I'll have to try checking that one out at some point. All right. So now I'll give you a little break from talking because I got 4 films to talk about. I'll just go in order of not good to best. So to start off, Erica and I did a To Be Tuesday. I think it was last week, and we watched the wonderful found footage film Tahoe Joe, which is about a Bigfoot in the woods type movie, and it wasn't good. It was there, but then we just kind of let Tubi decide what to watch next. We just kind of, when that movie ended, it said the next movie will start up in 10 seconds or whatever. It chose Tahoe Joe 2, and I realized, oh, it's a 2024. All right, so let's watch it. Well, Tahoe Joe 1 being not good. Somehow Tahoe Joe 2, the Sierra Nevada Bigfoot Conspiracy. Let me start off with it's a 74-minute runtime. After a popular social media influencer goes missing in the Tahoe National Forest, filmmakers Michael Rock and Dylan Brown set out on a rescue mission but get more than they bargained for when returning to the famous hunting grounds of Tahoe Joe. The first movie had these two like hunter documentary guys trying to find Bigfoot, and they kind of sort of caught footage of it, and they posted this footage to their social media site, and apparently, people were debunking it and this and that, and there were people that were like, "Oh shit, we know where that location is," and people started going there, and it's
What?
it starts off with these two chicks that look like they just got done being at a modeling agency, walking in the woods and pretending they're like survivalists, but they're wearing like high heels, like their dresses that they wore from the club that they were at in the middle of winter.
Yeah,
It is like
definitely.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And but then because these people end up going missing because these people kept going to the location, the filmmakers from the first movie felt responsible, so they go back, try to figure out what's going on. Where the first movie was not good, the second movie goes and somehow makes it fucking worse.
And if it could only get worse.
Oh, like the budget for the first one was not damn near non-existent. They somehow halved that budget. Like it was
That's
bad, and
bad.
it
And why
was
did they make a sequel? Like, this is
I,
times where you're like,
yeah.
there's no way there was enough people that watched this fucking movie.
No, and like Eric and I are just like, this is so bad, but we just kind of want to let this train wreck continue. And holy shit, it just got worse and worse and worse as it continued to the point where I'm like, this may be one of the worst movies I've seen this year.
That says something.
Yeah, that was.
Because we watch bad movies,
Yeah, and I purposely watch bad movies. And
right? And you're even like, you know.
yeah. But yeah, so that one I will say avoid, but it is on Tubi. So the next one. This one has been blowing up in popularity. Like I heard about it because
Really?
yeah, like I've been hearing a
Oh, I
lot of
have.
people.
Yeah, I've seen this on advertised.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bloody Disgusting advertised it first saying found footage horror film and it's all free on YouTube. I'm going, oh shit, okay. I'm found footage junkie. I will definitely check this out. So this one is called Milk and cereal spelled Serial. This can be found in its entirety on YouTube for free. So go ahead. You have no, whether my thoughts on it intrigue you or not, go ahead. I still say it's 62-minute runtime. It's free on YouTube. Watch this. Because I will say support these guys because this movie was made for $800, I found out. Which, right there, holy shit, $800 they
That's
made a movie.
not a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know that when I first watched it. So my score went up a little bit just because, okay, I'm impressed with that. But the synopsis is a surprise birthday prank takes a turn for the worst when a popular social media duo must face the reality of the terrifying aftermath. So basically, these guys are like YouTube pranksters. They like to pull pranks on each other
Okay.
and like their friends.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one of them, for his friend's birthday, pulls a prank on him that started to seem like it would go too far, so revenge ensues. Definitely not bad. Like I would say for a movie itself, not bad. These guys made this movie for only $800. The acting is subpar, but I think it's the filmmakers themselves that are acting it as well and just had their friends doing it.
Yep. Yep.
My big and it goes by quick, being only an hour and 2 minutes
Okay.
long.
Yeah,
It's found
short.
footage. Yeah. So my only gripe though is they did this in found footage, and this is just me being nitpicky because I'm such a stickler to the found footage rules when it comes to found footage films that they screwed up in a scene where there's three characters in this scene. No one else. There's no one else around. It's
Okay.
just these three characters.
Yep.
No one is holding a camera, but yet no one also set up a camera on a tripod either, because the camera is moving around and
Mm.
jumping to face to face to face. And it's like, there's no one there holding that camera. How is that working there? I like
Yeah,
completely,
that doesn't make sense.
yeah, that completely took me out of it because I was like, okay, if it was a supernatural thing, okay, I can imagine some supernatural invisible entity picked up the camera and moved around, but there isn't. It's all human stuff. So it kind of took me out, and I forgive it a little more now that I know it was only an $800
Yeah.
micro
Yeah.
micro budget.
Like true low budget.
Yeah, like this is indie beyond indie,
Yeah, yeah.
and but So I told Heather, I was like, they broke one of the found footage rules. In fact, I'm going to write down these rules so I can just, kind of
Ooh, story
explain my
time.
thoughts.
Yeah, story time.
There's only three major rules here, I think, is what I wrote down.
It's like
Let's see.
Gremlins.
Exactly. These are the rules. You can't eat after midnight when you make a found footage film. Um, can't get the film wet. All right. So the number one rule for found footage. This is for me to make it believable. Always have a reason to why you are filming. So in an
Agreed.
event that's horrifying, make sure that characters say, we're getting this on camera so people can believe us what's happening, instead of just we're filming, but I'm going to run away from a slasher villain while still holding the camera, but not explain why I would continue holding the camera.
Yeah.
Because, in most
Yeah.
situations, people would drop the camera and get the fuck out. But make sure you have an explanation on why you're filming.
Yep.
Number
Agreed.
Rule number 2. If there is music or editing or both, make sure to give a brief explanation why it's there. Because in a found footage film, you should not have music or editing because it's found footage. Unless I'll use Deadstream as an example, because Deadstream kind of nailed all these
Okay.
rules. The main character, while he's filming, says, "Oh, and just to let you guys know, there's going to be music playing in the background," and he pulls up like this little speaker that's playing background theme music, and he's like, "Wanted this to have like a kind of ambiance or whatever while I'm filming." So there was actually a reason why there was music playing in the background. He explained it away. And and editing, just put like a blurb in the beginning saying, this footage was found, but we edited it down to a manageable level, or this is a documentary, so we edited the footage that we need to explain our parts. Just give like a brief explanation somewhere.
I agree. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, just because it just add to the reality of this. And then number 3, this is where this is the rule milk and cereal failed. If you are making a found footage film, always make sure someone is holding a camera or using something to keep the camera stationary. Don't have unexplained shots that just that no one would be there to control the camera. That just does not make any sense.
That's just being a silly C word.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and for people that are curious that have watched the movie and maybe didn't catch it, if you go to Letterbox and like how there's obviously the poster image, but then right above that is like an image from the movie.
Yeah.
You see what I'm looking at?
Oh yeah, the chicks, right?
Nope, those are two guys.
Oh, they are?
Yep, like if you were able to zoom in on it, you'd be able to see.
Oh, okay. Guys. Oh no, I'm looking at another image where it's a guy in the kitchen with two girls, or who I assume are girls. So there's two images here. So I see the one where they're sitting at the table. Yes.
Oh,
and there's
where
no one.
Where are you looking? Are you in Letterbox?
Yeah, no, I was in IMDb.
Okay, and Letterbox is where I'm seeing this image.
Yeah, I bet it's. Yeah, I see the one you're talking about. It's like at a table, right?
Nope, there's two guys in the desert.
Oh, okay.
But
I'll go to that.
That specific image is where that incident happens with the camera. Because there's 3 people in that scene, but where the third person is not where the camera is actually at, and the camera is moving.
Silly.
Yeah, so
we can't. It's like, yeah, I hear you. You can't be doing that. It's not following the rules, and it doesn't make any sense if you're going to do found footage, right?
Yeah. Like it's my own little nitpick with found footage, but it's something that I just like, okay, yep, you're not found footage anymore.
Well,
but
yeah.
Even still, like I say, that is my biggest gripe about it. Like the story was decent.
Okay.
Like I gotta give respect to being an $800 micro budget film. I think this should at least be watched this year by everybody that's in the podcast community, just to have it under their 2024 belt too, because it is a movie that's being talked about and a lot of people seem to really love it. Let me see. I'm trying to find wait, there it is. I want to get to, I think it was Matt Wood reviewed it.
Oh, Matt saw it? Oh.
Yep, I think he reviewed it. Yeah, he gave it 3.5. I gave it 3. But he goes, yeah, this is a decent budget found footage movie, simple story yet effectively told. It's nice and short and gets the job done. It's not perfect by any means, but a director to keep an eye on for sure. 6.5 glugs of milk too many out of 10.
That's funny. Hey, you know what? And you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. It's definitely someone to keep an eye on, see what they do next.
Even the dogs agree. Yeah, that's a foster dog.
So Then we'll continue down with my next film. The next film is The Beast Within. It's got a 97-minute runtime. Protector, provider, predator. 10-year-old Willow follows her parents on one of their secret late night treks to the heart of an ancient forest. After witnessing her father undergo a terrible transformation, she too becomes ensnared by the dark ancestral secret that they've so desperately tried to conceal. This stars Kit Harington and James Cosmo, who both played in Game of Thrones, so they're well-known British actors. Um, and the trailer gives it away, the poster gives it away. It's a werewolf movie. However, it's the type of werewolf movie that good old Tim Davis cannot stand, where it's doesn't show much of a werewolf at all, and when it does, it's so brief and pointless, it just kind of falls flat. The father figure, it's just like an asshole, and
Oh.
there's parts in this movie that just made no sense plot wise, and once again, like I say, I can forego plot holes if the film is not trying to be super serious. But this film's trying to be super serious with a message of abusive father that its rage is showing when he becomes closer to the time of becoming the monster and this and that. So it just beautifully shot, well acted, but once again, a werewolf movie that does not fucking give us the werewolf goods and tries to be a metaphor for something else, which this is where I agree with Tim. Okay, I'm tired of these werewolf metaphors. Just give us a fucking werewolf movie, please. Just something simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
So is it just supposed to be this is the one they had the beef of like messages in movies kind of thing?
He hasn't watched it yet, but this is the type of message he's talking about.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Where it's
Okay.
just like, okay, he's like, I'm tired of these being in movies where they're trying to be an allegory for something else type of deal.
Yeah, and I get that. I feel like with werewolf movies, I don't know.
There's not many
I
good
get
ones.
it. Yeah, like I feel like the one on the train a couple years ago was really good. It's
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of it, but you know
I
which
think
one I'm
that was
talking about.
Howl.
Howl or something like that. There's a hand Ginger Snaps, of course. Like there's some that are like American Werewolf in London. Like there's certain ones that are ingrained.
Yeah,
And then there's ones that are just I don't know.
yeah, like
They're
it
weird.
just like I think they try too hard to focus on the message more than the actual
Yeah.
monster, and people don't realize people that want a werewolf movie want a werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and I get it. Making a werewolf is difficult for budget wise, especially because that's a
Mhm.
lot of money to go into either A, practical effects and transformations for that stuff, or B, might cost a lot of money to make a good looking CGI werewolf. I get it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But once again, like I get what you're trying to do here, and it is a well made movie, well acted, and all that. But it just, I don't see why it had to be a werewolf. It could have been a drama, basically.
Could have been a drama. Could have
Yeah.
just been a drama.
But so that one was, like I say, it wasn't a waste of my time, but it was just mediocre. And but then I'll get to the very last one that
Oh,
I have on this list.
baby. Woo!
And Erica and I went to go see this in the IMAX screening, and that is Alien Romulus.
Fuck yeah.
Directed by good old Fede Alvarez. It's got a 119-minute runtime because why not? Every Alien movie seems to be about 2 hours or longer. um,
Yeah.
while scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonizers come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. So this takes place between Alien and Aliens.
Okay.
So it just kind of bridges like a little bit of
So it's a
time.
sandwich.
Yeah.
It's a piece of bologna.
Yep. It's not pulling the whole fucking Halloween thing where these sequels don't exist. It's going, nope, we squeeze this in in here in the timeline. It's still part of the
Fuck yeah. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I like what you're putting down.
storyline. I thought this was really good. It's basically these people living on this planet controlled by Wayland Yutani, and of course they're treated like shit. They're dying working for this company, and the shitty things that Wayland is known for in the Alien universe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but they get off the planet because they hear of this derelict spaceship that's kind of like in orbit that no one has went to and scavenged yet. So they're like, maybe we can find some useful things here to help us leave this planet and find a different place to go. And that's when they come across the reason why it's derelict, and that is, good old friendly xenomorphs. And
Nice.
I will say this movie fucking nailed the aesthetic of Alien, like with the old school looking technology on the ships, like nailed
Ooh.
that look.
Nice.
The aliens looked freaking awesome. They had face huggers in this, and the face huggers were fucking terrifying. Like, I've always thought the face huggers were creepy. They legit made them fucking terrifying in this. Like, there were some tense ass scenes with them in this film. It is, but there are obviously some nods to the other films. While recommended that you watch, I say while it would help that you watch Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and Alien before seeing this. I wouldn't say it's recommended, but you would get more out of it if you did,
Okay.
because it does actually tie in things from those two films as well as the
Nice.
original
Nice.
Alien. There is a weird, wonky, deep fake CGI of an actor who had passed away a few years ago that they had in the first Alien, and he is back in this, and
Oh.
they kind of CGI'd him, and it doesn't look that great. It looks very
Hmm.
what is the term they use? But it's very kind of like unsettling look and just
Okay.
doesn't feel right. So I wish they wouldn't have
Yeah.
went there with that, but that's like my only complaint. And then the use of a certain well-known line that Sigourney Weaver's character uses in one of the Aliens films gets used in this because, every Lego sequel has to kind of bring up a line that's, been used in previous movies as a nod to audiences. Just felt unnecessary.
Mm.
Kind of like Sheriff Brackett in Halloween Kills. What was it? One more scare, or it's Halloween, so there's always time for one more scare, or whatever he says to Michael Myers, and it's like
Mm.
that felt so pointless right here, where you're about to, like, you could have been talking about the death of your daughter that he killed her, blah blah blah, back in Halloween, but okay, use that line. Everyone's entitled to one good scare, Michael. Okay, shut up. Okay. Anyways, back to,
Yeah.
using lines like that and just the placement of them just felt off. But other
Yeah.
than
It
that,
felt cheesy, right? It felt
yeah.
cheesy.
But I have to say, this may be my number one film of the year. Like,
Wow.
I fucking love this movie. It was tense as shit. It was everything I wanted from an alien movie.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, where Ridley Scott kind of gets up his own ass with Prometheus and Alien Covenant and tries to go deep with other meanings and things like this. This was straight up just, yep, alien horror movie. Back,
Aliens. We
yes,
fuck
it
shit
was,
up.
and they fuck shit up. Oh, they fuck shit up,
I
and
love it.
it's they definitely lead into the whole H.R. Geiger phallicness and vaginal shape of things like he does.
Ha!
They lead into
Nice.
that a little more, and I was like, yep, that's definitely Geiger would be proud.
Well, you know what? And that's a sequel that should not that again, I don't like saying that things shouldn't be made, but it sounds like it at least makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. Like,
Right?
it kind of just adds more to the alien lore, like I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
personally. And I'm one of those that's a fan of the entire Alien franchise. I love everything, even the cheesy one, Alien Resurrection. Rewatched Covenant and enjoyed that one more than I thought I did.
Nice.
Alien versus Predator. I have a lot of bitching and moaning about that film, but I still enjoy it. AVP Requiem, even that one I have a soft spot for, even though it's terrible. Like, so yeah, I'm a huge Alien mark, and I think Fede Alvarez nailed it with this one.
Fuck yeah. You
This is
know,
a high recommend.
this is a perfect bridge. So, first of all, is this still in theaters?
Yes.
Okay, so theaters are the only place you can watch it right now,
Yep.
right?
Right now it is. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'll try to get out to see it. Um It's funny that you bring up Aliens because Aliens bridge between science fiction and horror.
Yes, I do. I see where you're going with this.
Right. And there's a lot of movies that we claim as horror fans and that claim to science fiction fans, and I like to say are both. And I watched a great documentary that talked all about that. And it's In Search of Tomorrow. And if you liked the horror series,
In Search of
oh,
Darkness.
Search of Darkness, you will like this. It's a 301 minute runtime.
Yeah, I was saying this is done by the same guys.
Same
In
guys.
Search of Darkness.
And they go over a nostalgic journey through the 80s science fiction films, exploring their impact and relevancy. So you have movies like Predator and Aliens that float back and forth between the science fiction realm and horror realm. And we continue to have that today. Things that you even have a category Scott and I have. Is it science fiction? Is it horror? Does it matter? It's good.
Right.
Because a lot of times it does blend. So this goes over some pure science fiction. There's a whole bunch of Star Trek conversations in this that does talk a lot about Back to the Future and other
Probably Star
movies like
Wars.
that. Yeah, and like other science fiction ones that I hadn't even really heard of because I'm not the biggest science fiction person. Like it does talk about weird science.
Ah, nice.
Right. So there is some different stuff that it comes up with in this documentary. So if you liked In Search of Tomorrow, if you liked In Search of Darkness, I do recommend In Search of Tomorrow. It is tough to find. It's only available on Amazon, but it's worth the rental. Whatever you pay for it, you're going to get your money out of it. I don't think Shudder will pick it up because it's not 100% horror.
Right.
But
Yeah, I don't think
I
that's
would
going to be theirs.
right? But I would say, as science fiction-y, you want to find out some history about science fiction, it's worth the rental cost. And it is In Search of Tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, that is one I've always wanted to watch. Just the time, because it's a
Yeah, it's sittings, right?
an
It's just like In
investment.
Search of Dark. Yes, yes.
And yet it's kind of funny because we both brought a documentary to the table
We did.
for our older watches, and mine. Let me grab the thing here. Mine is Lost Soul: The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. This was, let's see, I gotta bring up the information for it. There it is. This was a documentary that was released in 2014. Erica and I had watched The Island of Dr. Moreau from the 90s because we're like, this movie is just a train wreck, but it's entertaining. So we watched that, and then I was like, oh, I heard about this documentary that talks about how fucked up everything was about the filming of this movie. And Richard Stanley is the guy that ended up doing Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage. But the synopsis I'll give is the story of the insane scandals related to the remake of Island of Dr. Moreau, originally a novel by H.G. Wells, which was brought to the big screen in 1996. However, Richard Stanley spent 4 years developing the project just to find an abrupt end to his work, while leading actor Marlon Brando pulled the strings in the shadows. Now, for the first time, the living key players recount what really happened and why it all went so spectacularly wrong. So, Richard Stanley literally was working on this for 4 years before any bit of filmmaking, like all the pre-production stuff was happening for 4 years. Because he did a movie called, oh, god damn it. It was an 80s called Hardware, and
Okay.
an 80s sci-fi horror film, and it kind of got the attention of New Line Cinema. And so he was discussing with them and I think his agent about doing an Island of Dr. Moreau remake and what he wanted to do. He had some very outlandish and depraved ideas that New Line automatically shut down, though I really wish I could have seen that film because it sounded kind of like a more fucked up version of the Island of Dr. Moreau, and I'm here for it.
Nice.
But took them 4 years. They finally go to film on an island, I think on one of the Caribbean islands, I think is where they were filming. By the time he got there, I think he was there for 4 days and then got fired.
I didn't realize it was that short of a time.
Yeah, like he was not on set for his own movie for more than 4 days before getting fired. And being escorted to an airport to get on the plane because they were worried he would somehow purposely sabotage the filmmaking of the rest of the movie because New Line already
Really?
invested so much money that they were gonna bring on a different director. Um,
Wow.
this new director came on and was changing things left and right, refused to do anything like that Richard Stanley had already talked about. Was really confusing the actors like Fairuza Balk and she was like, I guess it was, she was still a new actress at the time, so she was like wanting to learn from the greats like Marlon Brando.
Yeah, yeah.
So she went to Marlon Brando at one time and said, could I run my dialogue with you? Because I just want to get this done correctly, and I want to make a good impression. Marlon Brando says, "Oh, darling, there's no need to practice the script." He's like, "This is already a shit show, and we're not good. Just act and get paid. Don't even worry about practicing in this film." and apparently Val Kilmer refused to was a complete asshole on
I
set
feel
and
like Val
refused.
Kilmer is a complete asshole, though. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like it got to his head apparently, and being Batman and Batman Forever, so he was like one of those AAA stars at the time.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
So he refused to do certain things, was fighting with the director, would do his own thing. Marlon Brando came in and changed things on his character because he felt the character should be
Because
doing
he's
this.
Marlon Brando, and he's like, "This is how I'm gonna do it."
Yeah, like the whole scene where there's like this big old bucket of ice on his face and he's covered in white sunscreen. That was all Marlon Brando's idea because he's like, oh, I picture he is pale and allergic to the sun, so he's always doused in so much sunscreen. And because it's so hot on the island, he's got this giant bucket on his head that's constantly getting filled with ice. It's like, what the fuck? And like, yeah, it was a complete shit show. Well, New Line later on goes, has anyone seen Richard Stanley? He's never returned back home. Richard Stanley hid out in one of the villages in the Caribbeans and then snuck on set and dressed up as one of the animal creatures, and was an extra in the movie the entire time that no one knew about.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
There is
That's
so
wild.
much. This is just nitpick stuff that I'm bringing out. There is so much more. This is one of the most like what the fuck documentaries I have ever seen about a movie. I'm like, this is a complete fucking shit show. Holy god. How did this movie
That's
still get
wild.
made?
That's wild.
But yeah, if you want to watch a documentary about a train wreck of filmmaking, train wreck of a movie, I highly recommend this because this is just gonna make you go, no fucking way is this real. And it is, it's legit.
That's wild, man. That's wild.
Yeah, like it was just as fascinating as the movie
Man, that
itself.
sounds better. Yeah, it sounds better than the fucking movie.
Like I love the movie. The movie is a complete train wreck, but I love it.
I do kind of love how Marlon Brando was like, "You don't need to practice. This movie's a piece of shit." I kind of
Yeah.
find that funny. I'm sorry. I find that like I understand how like demeaning that is to a young actress. I get it, but I find it hilarious that this old Marlon Brando's like, "Fuck this shit, man. This ain't good."
Right. He's been around. He knows.
You know what I mean? He was like, "This is garbage. I'm just gonna put fucking sunscreen on my face and pretend that it's." I think that's funny.
Yeah, like it was fascinating hearing from all these actors that are still around and alive. And of course Val Kilmer refused to be interviewed.
Oh yeah, he was like, Val Kilmer. They're like, "Yeah,
I
we
mean,
know."
yeah, he's got cancer and he's not doing the greatest, but still, it's like, yeah, he probably
Is he
still an
still?
asshole.
Yeah, he's still alive, right?
Yes.
Is he alive? Okay.
Yeah, I knew he had like some type of like esophagus cancer or something crazy.
Oh yeah, I don't
He looked
really
really bad.
follow. He was in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I remember him being in as of late.
Yeah, he's not done much because his health has declined terribly.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, poor Valmy, but yeah. Oh, he was reluctant to seek medical attention when he first got diagnosed. Oh my. It took away his natural speaking voice. That explains why when he was in the movie for Top Gun, he didn't really talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never did watch that movie, so I didn't.
Oh yeah, I watched Top Gun Maverick. It's not great. It's okay. You can hard pass on that. Well,
Yeah.
two good documentaries.
Yeah. And I do have a horror book recommendation.
I know. I'm excited.
This is kind of running a long episode, but I'll be kind of quick about
That's
this one.
fine.
But this is called In the Tall Trees, because I've been doing that indie book brawl, and this is one of the indie authors. Her name is Angel N. Van Atta.
Very
And
nice.
it's in the tall shit. Let me make sure I got the title right on the documents. Yeah, in the tall grass. Sorry, not in the tall trees.
Grass. Well, tall grass, trees, plant life.
Yeah, pretty much. But I found this to be very fascinating because this entire story is told through the perspective of like a 5 or 6 year old girl.
Ooh.
Like it's spoken like she would speak, so like sticky, icky, gross things, and like the way she described things would be a way a child describes things. Like everything is
Or
written.
me. Or me.
Yeah, everything is written like in the perspective of this child, like the dialogue, or the thoughts that she's having in her own head, how she's visioning things. But she lives with her little baby brother and her mother. Her mother is chained to the floor and cannot leave the house. And her father only seems to appear every 2 weeks to 3 weeks to drop off groceries. And you find out, yeah, this father is not really a father, but someone that kidnapped the mother and daughter. And she was so young, she didn't realize that that's not his real father. That's not her real father. And it's like a dark story, but like done through the perspective of this little girl who doesn't know any better and like starts kind of seeing things unraveling as like events progress. And
Wow.
it's an amazingly well written story that fucking hits you in the feels. And like I was almost tearing up a few times just
Aw.
because of like just like the way the story's told. It's like not I mean it's sad obviously, but
Yeah.
it's got a happy ending. We'll give it that. It's got a
I
happy ending, but
find that I'm tearing up all the time now, and I don't know if it's just because I'm in a state of sadness or something is actually sad. At
right.
least
Nope,
you
I
know
get
this
that.
is actually sad. Because when I was watching Project Silence, there's a scene with a father and a daughter, which probably had a lot to do with what I'm going through personally.
Yep.
And I was crying. I'm like, I feel like the scene isn't that emotional, but I'm emotional about the scene. So, but if it brought you to tears, that to me tells me it's an emotional
Yeah, it's a
book,
very emotional
right?
story. Like,
I may
and
skip something like that right now. May not be.
it's very heavy, very heavy.
Okay. Okay.
But it is like beautifully done, well written, like, and just like being in the perspective of the little girl the entire time, and you literally feel like you are this little girl the way like the story
Yeah.
is being told. And this author did such an amazing job bringing the story to life. Like, this is probably one of my favorite books from the indie horror book brawl. I've read 14 out of the 36, and the brawl starts next week. And unfortunately, I won't be able to vote because I did not. I feel I did not, since I did not read the other books. I don't have a right to say if this
Oh,
one's
I get
better
what
than
you're
the
saying.
others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want to vote on something that you don't have any knowledge of. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get you.
But out of the 14 I've read, this is probably my all-time favorite book out of them. This is indie author done right. Like this, she's got a sequel to the story called In the Tall World, which I cannot wait to read.
I love it. I love it. I'll share my audiobook, even though it's not, well, I don't know, it's kind of horror. I like to listen to horrors of society.
Yes, you do.
And this current one I'm listening to is Conspirituality: How New Age Conspiracy Theorists Became a Health Threat. And let me tell you, yoga is fucking dark. Did you know
Really,
that Nazis used yoga as a form of control of like
really.
other Nazis? Yeah, man.
What the hell?
Yeah. So obviously, I'm not saying that yoga is a bad thing.
Right.
Obviously, yoga is, about breathing and movements, but it has been manipulated for evil.
Wow.
Very much so. And I've been learning all about QAnon. I didn't know much about QAnon and
Oh
Pizzagate.
God.
Like,
That's a deep well to dive into right
yeah,
there.
and like it's basically these three authors who are taking conspiracy theories and like analyzing them and providing like, okay, this is where people believe this, but that's not actually factual, or here is where this came from, this part is true but this part is not true,
Right.
or the truth about yoga. Honestly, the truth about yoga is layered. It's
Yeah,
not,
that's
and like, it's not to be like, oh, yoga's bad or anything, but not everything that we perceive as good has been always used for good.
Right. And that's fascinating.
Yeah, like it was interesting and how it's been used as like a form of control and other things. Again,
Wow.
like anything though, like anything, if we look at religion, religion can be something beautiful. It
Right.
can give people hope, it can give them comfort, it can give them purpose, but it can also be used in a way that is negative
Or evil.
or evil, right? So, it's fascinating. And I'm also trying to read 20 minutes a day now. I was reading this true crime novel, but I got into chapter 2 and it was just about these rich people that went missing in the desert. And when like I found out how annoying their rich family was, I was like I can't read the
Yep.
rest of this. So I returned it virtually because I'm just doing like stuff over my little library app.
Oh,
Because I don't
okay.
want to go to the library. I know this sounds so lazy, but like I don't want to.
That's my favorite part, going to the library and just browsing.
I know I do like doing that, but then like if you take a book and you don't like it and you get into it and you're stuck, you have to go take it back
True.
instead of just returning it over. I want to get an e-reader.
Oh yeah, like a
Easier.
Kindle or something
Yeah,
like that.
Kindle Hope or whatever, or knockoff. I don't care. Whatever, just to make it
Or
easy.
just be like me and just start buying books randomly.
Or that, whatever. I used to do that more, but I tend to always I don't really get into fiction. Like even on my podcast, it's all true crime shit, right? It's true crime, or I'm listening to one about the rise of steroids in the 80s and that's super fascinating. So I tend to either like that. Like I'm not great at the story, you know what I mean? Unless
Yeah,
it's horror movies. I don't know.
yeah, say I'm total nonfiction and fiction reader, but I definitely lean more towards fiction. Like I
Yeah.
do love my horror and fantasy novels.
Yeah. Yeah, like and I think more than anything reading, oh man, did you see the Reading Rainbow documentary?
No, not yet.
Dude,
Coming
watch the
soon.
Reading Rainbow doc. That doc is awesome. Rock on, LeVar Burton. Rock on.
Yeah, I definitely want to
Uh,
see that one.
yeah, it's worth it. Well, it'll be interesting as more AI scary movies come out. I can't wait to see the shit show that Afraid is. Um,
Yeah.
Honestly, fucking AI's gonna get us. It's gonna get us all.
Gonna
Is
be
definitely a
interesting.
new that and pregnancy horror and pregnant nuns and I don't know. There's
At least
so
we
many
seem to finally
cliches.
be out of the COVID horror
Oh, yeah. So far.
so far.
So
It'll
far,
make it come
right?
back down the road when they need to use it as a storyline.
Oh man, what was that movie we watched? Was it this year or last year where it was about a dystopian future in the South that tied in slavery, that was also
Oh
about COVID, that was also about anti-Trump. It was like all
yeah.
these movies
Yeah.
grew up into this one film and it was on Shutter.
Yeah, I forget what the fuck that was
Oh, and it
called.
was
I
like
remember
basically
that.
like this ghost of the cotton fields and shit like that and like I don't know. There's some films like Safer at Home was good.
Yeah.
That was good. And then there's
Host.
just Host was good. There's certain ones that came out that are like unique and good, and then like there is something that's trying to do too much in your film.
Yeah.
Like there is such a thing as going over the top and just too many things. And I think when you talked about Vischer, that was an example of doing too many things.
Yes. 100%.
Right? Wanting to be too many plot twists. Like there's only so much plot twists
It's
one
like
can.
you're not M Night Shyamalan. Sit
You're
down.
not on Shyamalan Ding Dong. You're not. We're not plot twist all fucking day all night. Look at this cat. This cat's just like totally on your chest. It is like, love me, Scotty.
Yep. This is Poof. She says wherever I can fit, I sit.
I fit. I sit. Well, tonight I'm going to see the Paranormal Circus, so that should be fun. I
Oh,
look forward to
fun.
talking about that later. Scotty's been such a great friend. Thank you, Scotty, for all you've
Of
done
course.
over the last couple of weeks. It's been rough, but I'm happy to be back doing this. It's hard, as you know. You've
Oh yeah.
lost your brother and other people in your life, and though it's a natural part of life, it is always hard. But it is a lot of fun spending time with you. And
Yep. And I'm
to
glad
all
I could
our
be there.
thank you, Scott. Even
Yeah.
away, it's thank God Scott was able to watch my dad's funeral online. So
Yeah.
I guess AI is not that scary.
So I'll say technology is a good thing for some stuff.
Right? Right. For some stuff, it can be quite useful. We actually had people in Australia, England, and across Canada watch the funeral in the United States. So
That's
I
cool.
think that's nice. It does
Yeah.
allow people to come together and celebrate life and all that kind of good jazz. And I still have such respect for people that work at a funeral home. I don't know how they do it. right? As someone who likes horror movies, you know, you would think like we would have more of a, I don't know, fascination of that area, but
It's a little too
no,
real.
it is, right? And the prepping of the bodies and stuff like that. And yeah, though I will say when I did walk into the funeral home, I thought of every single horror movie that has a funeral home
Oh,
in it
I'm sure
because
you
it's
did.
just like ingrained in you. I don't know if you do that either. Like if you go through a graveyard or something like that, you're like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
yep. There's this tunnel that I walk through in the mornings. Sometimes it's on this path, and I swear to God, this is like a found footage VHS short film waiting to happen. Like you definitely think as you're walking through this tunnel, and like it's weird if I have my sunglasses on and I go into the tunnel, like it's almost like there's a shadow behind me. And I'm always with my dogs, so I'm like, I think I'm safe, right? Because the ghost can't get me if I'm with my dogs. Somehow my dogs are
Right.
gonna protect me from the ghost that doesn't exist. But anyway, it just where this shit ingrains in you.
Oh, it
You
does.
watch these movies and you're like, it's with me. Like I hope one day I'm gonna go to a super fun arcade and the mousetrap's gonna happen. Some weirdo's gonna have some cinema where they're watching 1920s cartoons and they're like, maybe he went crazy because the cartoon was so boring. He was like, fuck, what is this shit?
100%.
Right? But nothing was as honestly the underground movie that I talked about, the found footage of those chicks, was worse than the mousetrap.
Whew. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Like at least the mousetrap you could follow,
yeah, exactly. And
right?
it was bad, but it was entertaining still.
And they knew it was bad. Like it
Yeah,
didn't they weren't really taking themselves seriously, right?
exactly.
But yeah, fuck. Anyway, we'll see. More movies to be coming. More movies to be coming.
Yep, and I
We
think I'll pick up the pace myself and have even more next time because yep, I think I just kind of needed to take a little break, and then spoopy season is coming up. So
Oh, Scotty, everyone's about to get real annoying
yep.
real quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
they already are. They already are.
The only spooky season I care about is October 2025 because
Yes.
that is when you and Erica finally stop living in sin.
And we'll be
You
living in
know,
sin together.
I'm glad that you have withheld from sex until you're married.
Yes, I don't. I'm still a virgin. I don't want to pop my cherry
And
yet. I
Erica goes to touch you. You're like, no touchy till ring, no touchy
yeah,
till
no
ring.
touchy. Yeah, no touchy.
Yuck,
I'm-
yuck.
Gross. What would
You're
God
like,
think?
you're like, only Tim Davis gets a touchy until then. Because that's a sin no matter how we dice it. But you and I, baby, no, we have to do the right thing and wait till
Exactly.
we're legally man and wife. Hopefully, you two fuckers will come up here for the convention in Niagara Falls because
Yes,
fucking
I
all of a sudden it became a real convention.
right. You know, I was saying yeah. Hopefully, I was like, because yeah, financially things might be difficult to pull off now because of the
I
bullshit I'm
know.
dealing with. But I'm gonna try. I still
Look,
want to try.
OnlyFans, this is it. Time for you to start showing
Yep.
off the goods.
Time to do that reverse OnlyFans where you have to pay me to put clothes back on.
Nah, I bet you there'd be a lot of people. Yeah, they'd be like, hey man, you know what I mean? We got to do what we got to do. We're not good enough like Dummies of Horror to have a Patreon.
It's right.
So, because
What
premium
releasing
podcasters,
content on time?
yeah, premium podcasters don't do that. Premium podcasters, the listeners, all five of them, come to you.
They
Come
do.
to you, right?
They come
But
on me
we
too. Wait, what?
Oh, they sure do. Actually, the next time you probably hear from Scott and I don't know, depending when Scott edits this episode, will either be before I go away. My mom has insisted I keep with the trip that I have lined up at the end of September.
Okay.
So I will be going and she will be taking care of Mickey, which I think is something that she's looking forward to. She is
Yeah,
getting
that's
out and
good.
doing stuff, which is good. So maybe we'll record before then, but we do plan on recording with the guys from Dummies of Horror and Mr. The Rob the Hump. So that should be fun.
Yeah, I was like, get all of us back together again, and I don't think we're gonna have anything in particular to talk about. I think we're just gonna
Nah.
shoot the shit and just kind of
We're just
record
gonna
it and
make
see what
Rob
happens.
mad. I'm gonna go on and say things like, I really wish we had another Final Destination movie this year.
Yes,
Or,
exactly.
I really
Or the
wish I could
Texas
get
Chainsaw Massacre 2022 was such a masterpiece.
and I really love the direction they took with Wrong Turn 2021.
And get Tim and
I thought it
Daniel
was
riled
something
up.
different. It was something out of the box. I guess if you can't handle that,
You can't
it would be
handle
a
the
lot.
truth.
Be a lot for somebody who wasn't able to get the message behind that Wrong Turn. 2021 movie.
Oh, it'll be fun.
No, I'm gonna say Halloween Ends is my favorite Halloween movie of all time.
God, then we'll never get Tim to shut up.
And I'll be like, Corey's my role model. I understand Corey. I know he brought it up too. I think he did an episode, and somehow Halloween Ends came up. Oh, it was the Blumhouse episode.
Oh, and he brought it up again this episode, the anime episode. There
Yeah,
somehow brought it up.
he's you know why Halloween's coming, and he's remembering. He's like, I
Yeah,
remember that the betrayal.
I
I
was gonna say,
remember.
like, it's either Jaws or Halloween Ends with him. I mean, Tim, we
Yeah,
know Halloween Ends is your favorite movie. You don't have to
I
talk
know.
about it every episode
Best.
like you do Jaws.
Just like I
Get it?
secretly love the Quiet Place movies, is that they're
Exactly.
so good because I love talking. I'm like, fuck, I can't handle the Quiet Place. There's no Quiet Place.
It's
But
just
yeah,
never quiet.
it's never quiet. But yes, hopefully we will be back again before I go away to talk about more amazing 2024 horror films. We're slowly inching towards that episode 100. We're really making you work for it here on Friday
We
Night
really
Nurse.
are. We're making you beg.
Look, we're just trying to get through, okay? We're just two simple little horror premium podcasters with a large amount of talent, just doing our best, trying to.
It's huge talent. Very huge.
And
Very
remember,
big
Tim,
league.
I'm sad. You can't say anything right now, can you, Tim? Good friend right now. Remember when his grandfather died and he kept saying his grandfather died on the episode? You
Yeah.
remember that one? Luffy would say something and Tim would be like, my grandfather died.
Yeah. Just
I'm not quite ready to make that joke, but I do find that joke funny sometimes when I think back
Right.
on it. That was quite funny.
that was fun. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, this is awkward. Okay, Tim's having fun with it. Okay.
Oh yeah, he definitely made it work. So anyway, we are proud members of the Legion Podcast Network. You can find us on their Patreon because Scott and I are too lazy to have our own. Please feel free to join and donate and support us. And there's lots of different content on there. Different shows post really great content that we don't. I recommend checking them out. And if you haven't for some reason and you're just sitting around thinking, how can we ensure that premium podcasters like Heather and Scott can release an episode at least once every 2 months? Scott has one question for you.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I sure hope you're not waiting for me to release a new episode. What are you waiting for? Join us. And yeah,
Like
just join us.
the next Quiet Place movie will be out before Quiet Place, Michigan.
Quiet place. Shut the fuck up. That's
Oh
that's
my
gonna be the next
God.
tagline.
I hate fucking Quiet Place films. Anyway, please join us on Patreon. Thank you as always for listening and supporting our show and for being there to give us an outlet when things get hard to talk about and to enjoy, and allowing Scott and I to fill your ears with goodness like The Mousetrap and other
And
great films.
and our unfiltered, perfect opinions of films.
100%, because we're experts, obviously,
Yes.
clearly.
Absolute experts of the craft.
You know, when we're coming out with things like Killer Book Club and The Mousetrap and what else was the other one?
Cocaine Cougar.
Cancun Cougar,
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse. Like, this is premium shit here.
Yeah, damn straight.
Right? Do you have anything else to say to the good people, Scotty?
No, just thank you as always for listening and supporting us, and we'll hopefully get this episode out fairly quick, just because it has been a long time since an episode has dropped. So I will be a little more vigilant on trying to get this one done and released. And thank you all, and unpleasant dreams.
See ya.